We're live. Yeah, we are live. Good afternoon. Good morning, guys. Hope everyone's having a good day. Today is going to be a little interesting because actually, what we're going to do is I'm going to invite people to come and chat with us, right? And I'm here with Kevin, by the way. If you guys don't know Kevin, we've been here before. We spoke before. Kevin, how you doing?
Doing good. So everybody, for everybody that doesn't know me, I'm Kevin, or Kev runs on Duncan in the chat, or KevRock67 in the Discord. Uh, I'm here just to be with Kevin, help to train you guys. I personally work in the infrastructure kind of world, and I have a lot of experience in IT as well.
Awesome. So for you guys, and the way this is going to work is I cannot invite everyone. I wish I could invite everyone. The thing is that this app is very limited to what I could do with it. So the way it works, the way I'm going to do this is if you want to join my stream, message me on LinkedIn, and I'll send you a link, a private link. And I'm gonna put my LinkedIn profile or my LinkedIn information in chat. So just give me a second, just so you guys have it. This is my first time doing this. Actually, I've never done this before, so usually I don't do that. I don't like invite people to come in and train. Don't do that, but yeah. So that's my LinkedIn. That's my LinkedIn information. So if you want to have a conversation with us about IT, it could be anything. It could be like, career advice. Can you go over this? Can you go over this or over that? You know, it could be anything. It's for like just for an hour or so. You know, we hang out over here. So come on to chat over here. Don't be shy. Yeah, don't be shy.
Here.
Oh, somebody just messaged me. Can you please send me a link to join? Thank you. All right. So I'm going to send you the link. Here you go. Just make sure your microphone is working. Make sure everything is working. I just send the link. I have one more person that's going to join today. So we have two people joining today. It's going to be fun. And we have Steven that wants to join. That's fine, Steven, you can join. Yeah, the thing is that the app only allows me to invite, I think, 5 people. That's it, or 6. So I can't invite like 10 people. I wish I can, but the app doesn't do that. Unfortunately,
Seems very new.
Yeah, it's a new app. That's why.
Working through some problems, I guess.
Yeah, they gave me like a free license to try it for about a month, and I liked it, so I ended up just staying with it.
Yeah, a lot of times when you're building on an application, it's pretty hard to build something like this and then scale it out so to be able to support all those users.
Yep.
Be sure to mute.
Yeah, I think Steven has his microphone on. Oh, there we go. He muted himself. Hey, what's up, man?
I'm fine, Kevin.
Hey.
How you doing, man? What's going on?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Whose microphone is on? Who's that?
Yes, my microphone is on. Yeah.
I don't know. Who's like? It's an echo.
Yeah.
I think Steven had it, or maybe you had it. I don't know. All right. Let's see here. Go here. I'm just changing the camera layout.
Is there any way we can mute the microphone? Like maybe I can mute my microphone. Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. It's not doing echo anymore. You're good. You're good.
Okay. Thank you.
So welcome, man. What's your question?
I've been following your videos and everything, and I also follow the hot seat. And I'm coming from environmental science background to IT, and I also use your videos and that of Professor Mensah to prepare for my CompTIA. I passed the CompTIA A+, because you told me. I joined your Discord and I follow everything that you do. Every Sunday, I make sure I join your coffee chat and all that. So my question is about your internship. I would like to join your internship, maybe your next internship. But
Yeah,
I didn't get, yeah.
So that's separate from here. You're gonna have to ask me that on Discord. It's not nothing to do with
Okay.
this. Yeah,
I
it's not.
asked you on Discord, but you told me you are not doing for people in Europe. I'm in Europe.
Yeah, I don't do it's only US only because
Okay.
I work in the week I work on the weekdays and on the weekends and I live in the US. I'm not gonna wake up at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning for that. I need time to sleep. So that's why. So other questions you wanted to ask me?
Not really. Yeah, it's a privilege to join you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey,
And
Steven.
Steven too, yeah.
Hey Kev. Hey Kev. How are you guys?
Good, man. How's everything?
Good.
All right. It's going good. Yourselves?
Good, good. I'm testing out the app, and it's actually posting on YouTube
Okay.
and also on LinkedIn at the same time. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Gotcha. I haven't seen you guys in a while. Kev,
Yeah.
the other Kev I haven't seen for a very long time.
Yeah. Busy.
That's good.
All right, I'm gonna invite another person. Someone else is coming in. Yeah, so this is on LinkedIn and YouTube at the same time, which is kind of cool. I didn't know I could do that, but this app allows you to do that. So I wanted to get more like exposure and wanted to get people to join and maybe go over some stuff with people because people might have questions, you know. That's why. If you're looking for my Discord information, it's on my YouTube channel. It's on the video on my YouTube channel. It's in a bunch of places. I'll send you the information because someone's asking me about it. Just give me a second. How was your week, Steven?
I was good. I had off yesterday, so I kind of took the day and did nothing. Kind of like just took a day for myself and just hung out and just relaxed. So
That's always a good thing.
yeah, it was good. It was a good day overall. So it was all right.
And how's everything else besides that?
It's going okay. Work is going okay. I mean, it's we're slowing down a little bit because of the end of the year coming up. But there's a lot of like little projects that are starting up at work that they're throwing me into. So, just off the cuff, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? I'm like, sure. I've never done it before, but I'll give it a try. And getting hit from a little bit of all angles. But overall, the site's pretty steady. The one that you visited is pretty steady.
Yeah.
Staying up. Had some weird issues this week. We had a machine that actually went down, a plant machine. And we had to re-image a hard drive. Well, the company that was supposed to send the file up was called a TIB file. I guess Acronis makes a TIB file, which is a true image backup. That's what the TIB stands for.
Mm-hmm.
And the company said, oh, all you have to do is grab the TIB file and get Acronis and then put it on there and you'll have your backup hard drive. It did not work at all. I tried for 2 days. I said I had enough. You guys, I said, you guys are basically supporting, you have to go back to the company. You have to go back. And the guys, they actually did that. But even the guys that are working for the company, they really didn't have any idea how to get a new hard drive because we're running Windows 7 on it. They thought it was Windows XP. And I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? And so I think we're still down yet. It's been down all week. The actual machines makes a lot of money for the company, but it's been down all week. And, I was off yesterday and I guess the guy was supposed to go home and try to get a TIB file and then create a hard drive and set it up there. And then they're going to try to remote in and try to configure it. But that's not really my department. But I kind of like stepped in when I really shouldn't have. But I tried. I gave it my old college try. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I have no idea what this TIB thing is and how. I mean, I kind of researched it. And I really couldn't come up with any kind of solution for him. I was like, you guys got an ISO file? I can just go an ISO, put on Rufus, and we can just reboot. I actually went out to Staples and bought a brand new hard drive. And it's amazing. A 2 terabyte hard drive was $60. 2 terabyte hard drive. A hard drive, not an SSD drive, but a hard drive. I was like, the guy comes out, he goes, the tech guy that's working there, and he goes, yeah, I have a 2 terabyte. I'm like, that's the smallest you got. I mean, that's the smallest you got. He goes, yeah, we don't carry hard drives anymore. So I was like, all right, I'll take it. I mean, it was a freaking company's money, so I really didn't care. I mean, I had $1 million card in my hand. I was like, I don't care, whatever. I don't care whatever it is. So, but yeah. So I wasn't really the hit of the party this week when, they thought I was really stupid. But even the guy, when I was talking to him on the phone, he goes, I don't understand why it's not working. I'm like, neither do I, but one of those things.
All right, that's somebody here. Let me see. Oh, I don't know if this video is working, but
yeah, the video thing is kind of weird. You have to click maybe on the webcam itself, because I had my Logitech software up and it did not recognize it in there. So you might have to change in the webcam drop-down list. See if you have another thing. This app is kind of goofy.
Yeah, I see someone's here, but it's like you can't see anything.
Right.
It's a black background. Yeah.
Because that happened to me. That's why it took me a while to get back up. I had to look in like my thing says like Logitech capture, and that actually brought me up. If I go to HD Pro webcam 920, it does not come up. So you might have to change it in there. They also have OBS, so that's for me. But
yeah, someone's asking how much experience do I need to know in order to clone and image a desktop. I'm like pretty sure anyone can learn it if you just build, like if you do like MDT or SSCM or something. Like for imaging computers, like all you care about, in my opinion, is learning how to configure Pixie Boot in the BIOS, and just enable Pixie Boot in the BIOS, and then after that, you go in there and just spam F12 and then image the desktop. The other stuff, like building the package and the image, is not really done by you. It's usually done by like a sysadmin or somebody behind the scenes that do it. Unless you are sysadmin, then you'll do it. But it's not like anyone could learn how to Pixie Boot.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of Pixie Boot. Like you could do it.
I mean, how we do it at our shop is that we have a USB drive, and basically the ISO we download, we pop it in, and it basically downloads the ISO from here, and then it goes across the network to capture on the SCCM side, like all the updates, the software, what needs to be installed, and stuff like that. So there's another way. But at the hospital where I used to work at, we used to use Pixie. Basically, we went Pixie, and it just pulled it down over the network. That way it took, depending how fast the network is, it was a hospital, it took about 2 hours, about 2.5 hours. Maybe it takes 3 hours, maybe tops if it's, kind of bogged down a little bit. We have something called seed boxes at our place. So those seed boxes, when you were inside my place there, Kev, and you were looking at that one table there's a box up there I have, just like basically just like a desktop, that has all the default applications or the mandatory apps that are on there. So instead of me going across the network to the SCCM store and pull them across the internet, bringing them back down over the network, which took like almost 8 hours to get one machine done. Sometimes it took 24 hours. So what they did, they gave us they call them seed boxes and in our world. And basically that has all the default apps on. So there's a couple of different ways you can do it. Pixie is a good way. Especially if it's fast internet connection.
So Steve, what do you do, Steve? Because people ask all the time and they don't know. Like Kevin introduced himself. What do you do, Steve?
What do I do? I work I actually work for HCL. I am a level 2 desktop technician over there. I've been there for about a year now. And I actually work for Stanley Black & Decker. So I do desktop support for everything from looking. I actually work inside. My office is inside the MDF, so if they need any kind of switch stuff or router stuff or playing with that stuff, I mean, I can touch it. I can tell people what's going on as far as getting into it. We don't do that, but I do like new hires. I do software installations. So basically, if like I got a task in yesterday, which I saw in my email, I got to get a user up and running, download all their software, configure it, send the machines out. I take care of the printers at work. I'm like a one-man stop show there. Basically, I'm the IT guy. So I got to do a little bit of everything and stuff like that. So I consider myself level 2. They call us like an FSO, which is a field support operations for the sites. And if you guys know about Stanley Black & Decker, they're pretty much global. They make cabinets, they make tools. They're basically are all around the world. But HCL now does their IT department stuff, and that's what I've been doing for the last year.
And they're hiring.
Huh?
And they're hiring.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Hiring.
always hiring.
Yeah.
They're always hiring.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I've been doing. And before that, I used to work at St. Luke's Hospital, where we used to put in all of the computer equipment. So they would build the hospital, and then they would send us in, and we would set up all the desktops, set up monitors, set up TVs.
Someone said, what company did you say he worked for?
That I work for?
Yeah.
Now it's the company is called HCL. And if you look them up, they're the number one, probably the number one in India, the number one company over in India for IT right now. We're growing, and they're trying to get them more of a foothold here in the United States. But they are big. I mean, they are huge. I mean, I never heard of them until I started working for them, but apparently they are growing. And
let me invite Brandon here. Give me a second. There we go. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, happy Saturday, everyone.
Happy Saturday, man. How you
Sorry,
doing?
I sound like crap. I'm fine enough with crud.
No, you sound good,
I'm
man.
well.
You're good.
Thank you for asking.
Good, man. How you doing?
So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Brandon, and I'm good, man. I'm good. I feel like there's a little bit of a delay here.
It's gonna be a delay in the video on YouTube, but not actually on the actual Melon stream. So you can go ahead and talk. Should be fine.
Okay, cool. Well, my name is Brandon, and I am a information systems and security manager for a national food service buying cooperative in the Atlanta area. So I handle everything from a data center infrastructure to end user support to some application support. So it's like jack of all trades stuff. But I saw a question earlier about how to get into cloud computing. Well, if you want to get into cloud computing, you got to understand what cloud computing is. In reality, cloud computing is it's a data center and network virtualization. Pretty much it can be either a public infrastructure or private infrastructure. So if you understand the technology behind virtualization, a software-defined networking, software-defined data center, stuff like that, then you can pretty much take that and go to any public cloud provider and do the same thing. So if you want to get into cloud computing, which I have a bachelor's degree in cloud computing, start learning what a data center does. Start learning some data center technologies like ESXi, vSphere, Nutanix, OpenStack Cloud, stuff like that. So if you start learning like how virtualization works, how you can pool your resources to provide services, computing services, and then you start understanding what cloud does.
Yeah, and to add to that, it's same thing. Like you really, at the end of the day, when you're working in the cloud, it seems scary. Like there's a ton of options, but all those options aren't anything new. They're things that have already existed, have been around for a while.
Yeah.
It's just now it's hosted by somebody else. And maybe they have things that are like easier. So for example, let's say with something like Docker, which is, we'll just call it a virtualization technology for now. But let's say something like that. You might run it locally on your machine and you have to do a bunch of setup, or you pay AWS and they have a machine that already has that run, and you just provide what's known as a Docker file, which is like a format that they use for creating these containers, and essentially they'll handle and manage it for you. So it's just making things easier for you, making your life easier, and just doing things in a different way. But it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
So if you learn it on-prem, you can learn it in the cloud.
Cloud computing is essentially it's the delivery of on-demand computing services. You know, whether it be servers, storage, networking, databases. You know, it's the on-demand deliverability, availability of those services.
Someone actually was asking, how important is learning PowerShell and CLI?
It can make your life a little easier. You know, I recommend it especially if you're a Windows network administrator or a sysadmin. PowerShell commands will make your life a lot easier. You know, just understand it's automation, and it's automation scripting skills that make those repeatable tasks a little bit easier. So, like especially like setting up users, mailboxes, stuff like that. You know, it does help. So Free Code Camp actually just put out a post recently about like PowerShell commands you should know. I saw it not too long ago. So, and there's free resource out there where you can learn PowerShell. There's the book that's like learn PowerShell in like a month of lunches. You know.
I actually have a Google Drive with PowerShell commands
Yeah.
that I shared on Discord with everyone. So, and we're adding to it. So if you want to like add to it, you can. But we adding to it like what each command does and how it's used in a job environment. So
Yeah,
I definitely look at that.
And it's not necessarily just PowerShell, but it's more so understanding how to write some basic scripts because you can transfer those skills anywhere. So again, like I said earlier, I'm in the infrastructure world, and typically I deal with Linux most of the time. So like just yesterday, I had to go through logs on every single server by hand and check for a specific type of message. We were having a problem, and we have hundreds, and I mean hundreds of virtual machines and servers. I can't do that by hand. I have to write a script. I took a few minutes, wrote a couple of for loops and things like that, a little bit of logic, and I got all the information that I needed in the time it took to run the script, it took a little bit of time because obviously there's a lot of machines, but it's a lot quicker than doing it by hand and a lot more efficient. I can go do something else while that's running. So it all transfers around. You just learn some nice basics of any kind of programming language, and it'll help you.
I was gonna say, someone asked a question, and this question is kind of like it's a good question to ask. But the thing is like I think I'm gonna have a different opinion from everyone here. So how do you get started in IT?
I started like understanding what a computer does and how a computer works. And you start like, okay, you got the motherboard, the processor, the storage, like the network, like the different IO devices. How does a computer work? Then you start to go like, how do computers communicate with each other? So like that was okay. It was A+ like level material that I started with. Then I went to the network and said, how do computers communicate with each other in different types? Wi-Fi, wired connections, like the networking topology, like what switches and routers do. Then you think about how to secure an environment. So like I went from the network plus material to security plus material. So like I started at the very bottom and worked my way up, and now I'm like into data centers and cloud technologies and like providing services, stuff like that. So
yeah, with me it's gonna be like a lot. So like I always tell everyone to look at the A+. So CompTIA A+ is the first thing I would start with if you're brand new to IT and you know nothing about IT. You're just like me. Like I was brand new. I have restaurant background, right?
Yep.
And then other people here have different backgrounds, right? So if you know absolutely nothing about IT, look at CompTIA A+. So look at that, read that, figure that out. And if you don't understand it, like Kev, this doesn't make any sense, right? You have Professor Messer, like that's like the standard person that everyone goes to when you're studying A+. So typically we go to Professor Messer, we look at his videos, right? He covers CompTIA A+, 1001, 1002, with software and hardware, right? And then he breaks it down in baby steps, so it actually makes sense, right? So you will look at that. Once you understand how that works, then you could go ahead and this is all this other stuff, right? It's very involved. After this, then you could look at building your own home lab, right? So you want to build a home lab. Then we talk about fixing your LinkedIn profile because LinkedIn is extremely important. Like people don't know how to use it. You have to know how to use it, how to connect with people. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? So you want to have a good LinkedIn profile. Then we go over your, like I said, resume. If your resume sucks, no one's gonna call you. So if you have a really bad resume, no one's gonna call you. So like it becomes a contradiction because then you go to the job market, right? And they say, I have no experience. So how do I get experience if I can't even get the job, right? So it's a time loop, right? Nothing happens, right? So then what you do is you build a home lab, you add that tech experience based on the home lab, you add that to your resume, and you make the resume targeted towards tech jobs based on the description of the job posting that you see there. And then you start applying for these jobs, and then you learn like the basic fundamentals of IT, and then you learn about Active Directory, Office 365, and all this other stuff, which you could get for free if you do your homework, just do research, do your homework, get these things for free. And it's very involved. Like it's just like learning the basics, fixing your resume, fixing your LinkedIn profile, talking to job recruiters. So like so many things you have to do to get started in IT. But like the first thing I always tell everyone to go into is go back on A+, learn the basics. That's like the key thing. Because one thing is going to these advanced topics and not knowing the basics, and then you start at the higher layer when it's like layer 1 only. It's like a physical problem, right? And then you go in and you go ahead and mess a bunch of stuff up.
Yeah.
That's my advice. That's my advice.
But then once you start developing some of that technical knowledge, then a lot of it is soft skills and knowing how to present yourself smartly and with confidence, you know. And like most of the time, if you don't, if I don't know, but I can show confidence, you know, that's half the battle right there. You know, I can present. Yeah, like
I agree with you on that. Definitely.
I can fake the funk a little bit, you know, but like I'll get you the right answer eventually, you know. But as long as you're like confident and you have good social skills and like communication skills helps, you know, then
definitely
that goes a long way. Because I mean, you're not going to know everything, and like it's not. I mean, you'll know a lot, but most of the time I got to look up a lot of stuff, you know, and that's okay with me. That's why I have 3 monitors. You know, I have one. My reference work here.
You got that right.
Here. Yeah, like
I hear you.
It means like deploying like a Docker on a Linux box. Like I'll still be like, okay, I need the right command. Like I have to make sure I do it right because I don't want to do it wrong and have to go back and do double the work to fix it. You know.
And look, as the most important aspect, in my opinion, of being in IT is learning how to learn things quickly, learning how to adapt, learning how to look for things. You need to be able to find the answers. And that doesn't necessarily mean just Googling it. So sometimes Googling should be your first step if you can't figure it out. But you shouldn't just default to if Google doesn't find your answer, you don't know what to do. You need to be able to kind of explore and learn how, okay, this says this. Read the message. What could that be? Maybe it relates to this other thing that I'm working on. Because there's a lot of times where I'm working on software, I don't know a lot of the things that I do at work. I'm just learning them now as I'm working on them. But I know how to, you know, kind of figure things out, and it gets me to where I need to go. So it's important to have that kind of mindset going in.
All right.
So Steve, what do you think, Steve? Like, what's your advice for someone trying to ask how to get started in IT? Like, what's your advice? I know you're gonna go to Professor Messer. I default to him.
Well, I mean,
somewhat.
I started out as a printer when I first graduated high school. I got in. I was a pressman, so I didn't really know anything about computers. I really didn't like computers. I didn't know. I was kind of scared of them. And in 2000, I got involved in computers. I started fixing mine at home, and then I went to my friends, and then I got into it that way. But didn't really know. But the best thing to do is to learn the basics. You want to learn the basics exactly. You know, you got to start there. You got to start with some kind of. It's like building a home. You just don't slip up the darn house. You got to build the foundation first, and then you build on top of that, and then you get to the roof. You know, and then it's all done, and you're like, okay, I achieved my goal to where I want to be at this moment. You got to look at it from that standpoint. You know, there was a question in here about help desk and desktop support. What's the main difference? To me, help desk is the guy on a man or woman on the other end of the phone that your first line of defense. Hey, something's broke. Call up the help desk. What's going on? They'll ask you a couple of questions. Second line, desktop support. That's what me and Kev did. I mean, Kev's a little higher now, but he's face-to-face. I mean, I am also face-to-face with the customer, talking to the CEOs, talking to every kind of person. This is where the personality comes out. This is where you got to be nice. Even on your bad days, you got to be nice. You know, that character comes through. If you are not good with people, you don't have the good people skills, you're going to be behind the phone. You can be on the phone because you're not face-to-face. You're not seeing their expression. You can hide behind the phone. But if you want to get out in the desktop support world and make that next steps up, if you guys want to do that, desktop support is where you're face-to-face, you're interacting, you're
day-to-day,
empathizing with them because they may have a bad day. I mean, they may have a bad day at home. They come into work. Well, they may take it out on you because now they're pissed off because their computer's not working. So what's the first thing they're going to do? Well, the IT guy is sitting right there. So I'm going to blast off at him, and you just got to smile and reassure them and make their day better. You know, just, you know, take some time out and, you know, talk to them about other things while you're working on the computer. I'd like to talk to them about other things. Hey, how are things going? Blah, blah, blah. You know, what do you think? And then that way, as they're doing that, they're calming down a little bit. And hopefully you're like, oh, it's fixed. There you go. Wow. Okay. All right. Good. All right. You know, just get back to work. So those are the two major differences. I think help desk is, I think, more you're stuck in a room all day long. Desktop support, you're not stuck in that chair. You can get up, walk around the building. Hey, what's going on? You need any help? What's going on? You can kind of like mingle around. So it's more face to face. Help desk is behind the desk.
You gotta have those people skills. It's like I always talk about the people skills. If you don't have that, you're in trouble. Because you gotta know how to. And I'll give you a real life example. Like I went to set up a meeting with the New York and in China, right? So we went to set up a meeting. I went to that conference room and I had like 25 people staring at me, and the video wasn't working. And I'm just over here sweating over here, and I'm sweating, and I'm like, Kevin, why is that not working? I'm like, well, let me check on the back end. And then I had to go check on the back end, and then I realized that certain configurations on Zoom weren't set up correctly. So then I had to set that up behind the scenes, and I came back to it, and then I set up the meeting, and then the meeting was fine after that. So you'll be put in a scenario like that where you need to know how to like, just get like, you gotta have that confidence, right? Because if you show them that you have that confidence, you'll be fine. But then if you start sweating a little bit, and they'll question you as an IT person. Yeah, Kevin's a little green. I don't know about that. It's just he kind of like, I don't know if I could trust him with this. Like that's how it is too. You build relationships with clients too, because when you have the right relationship as well, and Steve could tell me, Steve could quote me on this. When you have the right relationship with a client too, no one's gonna get mad at you. So if you have a really good foundation, like a good client relationship with someone in your job, and they're like, yeah, Steve's the go-to guy. Like he fixes everything. Yeah. You should go ahead and call him. Like he knows how to do it. Yeah. Don't call that other guy. That other guy, Thomas. Yeah. That guy was nasty and rude to me. I'm not talking to him. Just call Steven. He'll take care of it.
And you guys can take this into your own lives as far as relationships. When you first meet a girl or a guy, you're like, okay, yeah, but do they trust you? No, you just met them. You got to build that trust. It's just like, think of it in your own personal lives. I mean, you just met somebody. You met like the CEO of the company. Hey, I'm Steve. Yes, this is my first day at work. Yeah, you're not touching my freaking computer. John is going to touch my computer until you can prove that I can trust you. And going around the room, I mean, it's a Brandon, right? Brandon and Kev. You guys, when you guys had that situation, when you guys walked in the room and all the guys are on you.
Yeah.
How did you guys handle it?
I mean, most of the time it was the meeting that kicked off and then something was wrong. I only have like 1 or 2 minutes to find a quick resolution. And I try to tell every person who tries to have a meeting in a boardroom or conference room, like give yourself 15 minutes in case anything, and then find me, set yourself up. But no, they're not going to show up until like 2 minutes before the meeting, then the meetings kick off and I'm like getting phone called in like, you got to run down there. And I'm like, okay, you have to quickly assess what the problem is. And maybe, okay, you might know what your little hack is. Maybe I'll pull out the display port cable, plug it back in real quick. Then like the audio come over the display port, then you're good. Maybe just unplugging the camera and plugging it back in, like those things happen. And just remaining calm under pressure is big, because if you look like you're nervous and sweating, and then they're going to not have confidence in you. But if you're just cool, calm, and collected, and you just say, all right, real quick, bang, bang, then walk out the room, all right, everything's good, they'll call you back anytime, so like I've had that happen yesterday, actually, like the audio wasn't coming out of the back end of the computer, and we had a meeting. It was like my boss and like one of our VP of sales, and I just real quick, let me just unplug this plug, reach back behind the TV, pull the cable, plug it back in, and boom, we're gone, like it happens, so just being calm under pressure and don't stress yourself out, because then it'll cloud your judgment, and like just remain calm, and that takes time. I mean, especially if you're new to the field, it's nerve-wracking. You're like, I don't know what to do, but after time you like get confidence, and it's natural. So
Kev? And to add to that, same thing, like there's two things that I say that you need to take away from the help desk. And if you absolutely have to, if you want to move up in IT, you need to, again, like what Brandon just said, stay calm under pressure. I mean, it's rough. It's going to be difficult at first, but you'll get used to it. But it's useful because, right? right now I'm at a higher level dealing with a lot more critical stuff where I can now cause not just I can not just cause problems with something being broken to not just our internal team, our internal company, but to customers, right? That's a lot of people to make upset by not getting something fixed quickly. So when you're able to stay calm and collected, you'll find the answer easier. If something happens and I'm working on something with somebody, I know that I don't panic. And that's something that I used to do when I first joined IT. But as I learned to not do that. So no matter if the world is burning down, I can remain calm, think clearly. Okay, let's try this. That didn't work. Let's try that, and I don't have to stress myself out, because not only does that impact your mental health, but also your physical health as well. Stress is a very dangerous thing, and you need to know how to manage it before you move up into those higher level, more difficult roles. And the other thing is just social skills. You need to be able to socialize. You need to be able to talk to people. You need to be able to meet and network. Those are things that you can learn just through doing your job, just through speaking to people. And as Steven was saying earlier, it's probably more important sometimes than your technical skills, because you never know who you're going to be communicating with. I'm communicating with people at all levels. I need to be able to speak my ideas clearly. I need to be able to say, okay, I'm doing this, and this is what I want. This is why I want it, or things like that. So it's important to learn these skills now so you can do better later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally
I think
agree.
one thing too with this is that when you talk to those high level people, you as the IT guy you got to be a little firm at some point. At some point, a lot of these managers that will give you the runaround. And it's kind of like, okay, well, you have a job to do. You have to answer to your boss. You got to answer why this ticket's not getting closed. I'm getting a runaround from this manager or this director or the CEO, whatever. You know, sometimes you got to send that email out going, guys, I really need to have this information done. Somehow, somewhere but you can't just yell at them. You got to firmly ask them, I need this information. This is very important to me for my end, because you still have a job to do. You still have an SLA to, the actual service level agreement, the SLA, with each ticket that gets opened. I mean, for us with HCL, we have, I think it's like 3 days for like an incident ticket that we got to close and then get out. If not, we pay back to the company. That's how these things work. I mean, so that's why the ticketing systems, that's why all the SLAs, if you work for a company like that, and it's like, then they farm out their IT department, which Stanley Black & Decker does, to HCL. At the end of the year, they're going to go, okay, well, all these tickets here were not closed during the SLA. These were closed. All right, well, you're going to owe us money back. And then all of a sudden, then becomes a tug of war. So remember, you still got a job to do. Be firm, be polite, but get your job done so you can close out those tickets. Because at the very end of the day, the ticket closure is what all the bean counters look at. Mm-hmm. If you have a lot of tickets that are open, you may not have a job. And they may say, Steve, you cannot close your tickets out fast enough, and we're losing money. Well, they're going to get rid of you and get somebody else in that may be able to close the tickets fast enough. So,
yeah, hey, remember back in the day when we were talking about ticketing system, and I told you I never worked with a ticketing system?
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Guess what I suggested like the other day, because we're getting swamped. It's really just my boss and me, and like we're getting hammered with stuff. We're like this close to getting like the ticketing system, but I'm waiting for the new year to come out, because I may hire a level 1 guy. Because I got moved into a physical office now. I'm out of the cube. Well, not yet, but like, it's on the way. But like I need to put a guy into where my cube is. So I'm like this close to getting a ticket system, but like I'm waiting until after Christmas maybe. So
speaking
like
of
I need to be able to prioritize. It'll help me prioritize tasks, and I'm not looking for the metrics part. Like I'm just gonna make sure we have priority and visibility of like all our tasks, so we don't forget stuff too. Like because if I just get an email or a Teams message, like I might be able to handle, but sometimes stuff like slips through the cracks.
You're better off having a ticket for it.
Yeah,
you gotta keep yourself organized too.
Exactly.
Like, keep yourself organized, and that's very. And I see actually in chat, a lot of people have there's a lot of questions in chat. I don't know if you guys see in chat.
Yeah. I try to answer a few of them. So
yeah, there's a lot of questions in chat. Like someone said, like, how do you build a network lab? Right, you might actually have an answer on that right there.
When I started learning networking, I took a Cisco like intro to networking class with Cisco. We used a packet tracer.
Package.
I remember that packet tracer is software. So basically, you can build a network and like in a virtual environment, and not have to use up resources, and you can have the configuration. It's called packet tracer, but that's like a Cisco intro to networking class. So let me see if I can find
It's
it.
free too. I think you can
Yeah,
download it
it's
for free.
free. Yeah, it's
So-
free as heck.
Go over this one.
Learning those networking is big. If you learn networking, you can go places.
And
What's
somebody,
weird is like that if you learn networking really well, you can get into a security job really easy. Have you heard that before, Kevin?
yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah,
You need to know networking. Also, if you're doing AWS and Azure and cloud computing, you need to know how networking works.
Yeah.
I think you need networking in pretty much every single
Everywhere.
field of
Every
IT.
single field of IT.
Yeah, definitely.
And don't think it doesn't work the other way around. The network guys on my team, they all know the cloud stuff and all that stuff as well. They might not do the same amount, like the same level of work that we do, but they're still familiar with it. So just because you're focused on one IT field doesn't necessarily mean you get to ignore everything else. Now, of course, there's just exceptions. If you're at a very, very big company, you'll probably just be doing that one thing and that's it. Because there's probably a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of teams, sure. But if you really want to get good, you want to learn a little bit of everything.
Aaron, our friend Hammy, puts out a good point on chat. You can buy networking gear and equipment on eBay and Amazon for cheap. But then again, you got to rack all that stuff. I mean, like, putting a home server in your house can be tedious, but like, if you want to go that route, that's okay to go that route too. So
Yeah, I was gonna say that when you do like, because my channel is strictly help desk, right? IT support. When you do IT support, like that CMD line, man, the CMD has saved me so many times, especially when you're helping people and you just know basic networking troubleshooting steps. And that's how it's very important to know that.
Donald Winter also puts out the GNS3, which is another.
GNS3. Yep.
Yeah, that's another tool. I've used GNS3 a little bit.
Someone asked me a question actually, and you guys could answer it too. I'm pretty good with Active Directory skills and working help desk currently. But you're saying like advanced group policy, etc. Like, how important is it to learn those things?
Yeah, if you're a Windows systems administrator, you should know group policy because sometimes your issues could be just group policy issues. Like I can't access or a user can't access like a network folder with the group policies attached to those resources. So that can help you troubleshoot a little bit.
Just kind of learn what you can learn. And, over time, you'll just get better at these things. You'll know what to look out for. See a problem. Okay, this is probably this. Let me look over here and kind of figure it out. But the more you practice, you encounter those problems right in your lab. That's why we lab, because the more you practice, eventually you'll encounter something. And when you encounter it, you'll find a solution. And then when you encounter it in the real world, you already know the answer.
You guys, you got to remember, guys, when you guys lab, that is the real world. There is no difference. I mean, they're not sprinkling fairy dust here. This is the real thing. It's the real thing. Like if you lab at home, it's the real thing out in the world. Almost 95% of it's the real thing. I mean, there is no really.
You can lab at home to gain experience, and like if you document that experience, that can be like experience you put on a resume. Especially if you're starting out and just doing labs, like how you documenting those labs, document those lessons learned. And have that ready for like an employer. Hey, look, I've got like a tech blog, right here. Here you go. Check it out.
You have a website, don't you, Brandon?
I do. I do.
Yeah, GitHub website and stuff like that. You have a website.
No, I have a blog.
Aaron was asking. Aaron was asking about it. Aaron was asking, like, can you give us an example of a home lab? Like, he's asking everyone here actually on video.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you running, Brandon?
Most of my labs and stuff, I do a lot of like I built the LAMP stack by scratch, but like I broke down. LAMP is like the Linux, Apache, MySQL, Linux server, Apache for your web your web server. MySQL is your database part, and like the PHP coding part is like the programming side of it. It's like a pretty much a all-in-one web application right there. But I broke it down and how to configure it because I'm not a web developer, but like if my developer says, hey, I need like a lamp stack ready so I can use, here you go, like I can configure it for him. So I broke it down and went to like different. I made a blog post for every piece of it. You know, you can do it all in one. You know, I just broke it down so it makes it understandable how it works. Let me put it in chat. My tech blog.
What are you working on, Steven? Like, what do you have as a lab? I know you have a lab too.
I use VirtualBox, Windows Server 2019, and then Windows 10 Enterprise. That's what I pitch back and forth, and I go in there. I do Active Directory policy, do some of the DNS, DHCP, try to see if I can make it all work in there, and that's how I learn. And then I can take those skills back to work. When somebody does have a problem, at least then I have some theory of what is going on. And then if I have to talk to the networking guys or the sysadmin guys, I get some kind of, I'm not stupid. I'm not like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I kind of like can give them some information, and they actually appreciate that. They're like, okay, I don't have to, break it all down to me to understand that stuff. So yeah, LabMeet is good. I mean, VirtualBox is what I use.
Yeah, I use VMware Workstation Pro because I have a license for that. If you're a student in some of these colleges, they give you like free like Workstation Pro licenses.
Oh, really?
Like ever. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I don't
nice.
think I haven't paid for a Workstation Pro license in about 4 or 5 years.
Really?
What's
Because they keep renewing. It's like it won't be a lot. On the hub, like the education tools are like invaluable. So Aaron asked if does anyone on the stream have a lab setup to show as an example. Let me see. I'm updating my Workstation Pro, Aaron. So let me see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, and on my side, I want to just to show you the importance of a lab. I labbed for a long time, many months. I was working a IT support job for 3.5 years. That entire time, I had a Linux lab, and I was doing multiple things and learning. Let me tell you that every single piece of technology that I worked on in my lab, except for like 1 or 2 things, I use in my job. That's the importance of the lab. So yeah. I went into my job and I already knew things. I'm looking at things. I recognize that. Oh, that problem. Yes, I've dealt with that before. It's very important. But my lab, because I've focused on the Linux world, it's a little bit different. So I have a router. From there, I have DNS, DHCP, NTP, TFTP for Pixie Boot. I have an LDAP server for authentication. I have some automation using Ansible and Terraform, these are all words that they'll make sense if you Google them, and they sound like a lot, but it's not. It's not. Trust me. Eventually, over time, you'll learn them. I have stuff in the cloud, right? I have stuff. I did some packet tracer as well. You have different things that you can work on and you can learn. You kind of just look at job descriptions and you can kind of determine what people are looking for. And if you can't do that, sometimes you can look online on Google, or YouTube or Reddit. There's some people have made labs and they say, okay, do this, then do this, and do this. And those guides sometimes come from sysadmins themselves as well. And there's a lot of cool stuff that you can find online. You just have to look.
I was gonna say that the lab thing is important, like what Kev said and Steven said. Brandon said it's very important because you may have an error message you've never seen in your life before, right? In your job, and then you have a lab, right? You just throw it in there and try to replicate the problem, right? You recreate the problem in your lab, and then you reverse engineer it. You know how to fix it, and you go back to the user. Okay, I think I know how to fix it. Let me go and look at this for you real quick, and then you try to resolve it. So
I do that all the time.
I agree with that. I mean, especially doing like registry hacks. I just love the freaking registry. I think it's the coolest thing in the freaking world because it's not like the heart of operate. That's the heart of freaking Windows. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to find anything, go inside the registry, change something, and voila, it's fixed. Yeah. It's just so cool. But you can do that in labs. Do the hacks on the labs, and then you're not going to destroy your computers at work. Try it. Yeah. And boom. I mean, I fixed so many problems through the registry in the last year. It's wild. I was like, all right, I'm not going to be afraid of this anymore. I'm just going to go and Google the heck out of it and try to make all kinds of, we solved Office problems. We solved Adobe problems. We solved Explorer problems. We solved browser problems. It's all there. I mean,
And you know what?
It's great.
Here we go. So let's say you people trying to get into help desk, right? So you set up Azure AD in the cloud. You're gonna have O365. Maybe it might not be free. Maybe you have to pay a couple of dollars, a little license for a month or something. So Azure AD, O365 in the cloud, have some VMs, and interconnect them. Get a Pixie boot using MDT. Set that up on in your VirtualBox environment. Image a machine. Connect that to the AD environment. Just kind of go with it and try different things, play around, and trust me, you just get creative. If you get creative, you will learn enough skills to put on your resume to speak well about them at the interview to get the job.
And the cool thing about creating a lab is if you break it, you could just remake it, right? It's just like
that, right?
Just go ahead and
Nobody
lab away, and break the living hell out of the lab, and then just go recreate it again, or get a snap it, right? Like a backup of it. So then if you break it, you could just go ahead and put it back in there, and you should be good to go after that. So.
Worst thing that happens if you break a virtual machine, you delete it and start over.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like it's all right, cool. You know, I dumped so many freaking virtual machines, it's like it was nothing.
And look, Kev has a whole playlist on this stuff.
Yeah.
Even if you just follow just along to that, I'm telling you, you will have the skills to get the job.
You know, circling back the few things up about the CMD and PowerShell. Kev, I did you put my 50 commands? I actually added.
Yeah, it's in there. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's all in there.
Those like PowerShell commands, I use them because I'm desktop. You know, I use them all the darn time. People, when we're on calls, people are like, "Oh, what's the version of the operating system this guy has?" I don't know. I have to go look. I have to go call the customer. I'm like, "Hold on 1 second." Boom, done. They're like, "How'd you find that out?" I'm like, "PowerShell." I'm like, it's not that friggin' hard. I mean, I just Googled the darn command and boom, here you go. Here's the version of the of this one application they're using. I just saw all the applications that the person has. Is there anything else you want? You want his first name and second name, or what do you want? I mean, I can do anything. But I didn't have to get up. I didn't have to call somebody. I didn't have to interrupt the customer. I just put it in the thing and voila. I mean, you can see what kind of printers they have. You can see if you can see who's online, who's logged in to the darn console on the actual machine. It's like, oh, I wonder if they're logged in right now. Hold on 1 second. Oh yeah, look at that. So and so is logged into that machine. Really? Yeah. And the bosses are like, how did you do that? Like with PowerShell? And even they're like impressed. So the commands that are up there, I put them 50. I added some more commands to it.
Yeah,
I'm stumbling over, but
I put it in chat so people can look at it. Did anyone edit it? Now, Brandon, can you post your lab?
I did my first.
I don't have you as a moderator here. That's probably why. Maybe I choose a moderator.
I need to write more.
I had you as a moderator, so you could put the link.
I'm posting it in the YouTube chat.
Yeah. I'm interested to know who in the panel are introverts. I can see at least one.
Yeah, I am an extrovert, and that so I spent some years in the Marines, and so like I'm very social, and that helps me a lot. So, someone asked about the Cloud Plus and the CompTIA Cloud Plus certification. I took that not too long ago. It is actually harder than it looks, but it's I enjoyed taking it, but then I paired that up with a lot of vendor certifications. I have my AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, AWS Solutions Architect Associate, AWS SysOps Administrator Associate. I just took the VMware Technical Associate, the Data Center Virtualization one. That was the entry level VMware one, but like I'm working on my VMware VMware Certified Professional Data Center Virtualization one, which is like you actually have to take a class before you can actually take that exam. So, but like getting involved in a lot of like data center technologies and the cloud technologies, you know, it sounds good. I'm also studying for the AWS Solutions Architect professional certification. So that might be done by the end of the year.
Yeah, Brandon has certs stacked. That's just how.
Yeah, yeah. Go if you go to brandonscloud.com, they're all on there. It's not like I'm chasing search. It just happens, you know. Like I enjoy studying, and then like,
Just
oh, what'd
happens.
you take? All right, cool. Yeah, and then my work tells me, hey, we'll reimburse you for that certification. All right, cool. I can. So, I have in the wheelhouse for next year. My CISSP is. I work said they'd pay for it, so that is very tempting right now.
Yeah, might as well go for it if you have it, right? And just go for it.
So Gary was referring to me with the introvert comment, but and I want to say, to add to that, it is true, I am an introvert, but here's the thing. I know how to be social. It's something that I've practiced and gotten better at. Over the past 2 years, I've been working on that, getting better. If you go and look back at some of the earlier streams I've had with Kevtech and Job Skillshare, and look at how I'm speaking now, it's different. It might not be extremely noticeable to you, but I can tell it in myself. If you practice it, you will get better. Being introverted doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be social. You need to learn how to develop those people skills. It's crucial to the job market. It's crucial to be successful. It's crucial to the world. And just work on it. Trust me, it'll get better. So don't let that discourage you and keep you like in a box.
I was gonna say that I'm grateful to have worked restaurant restaurant experience, because I'm able to interact with people and customers, right? And because of those skills that I have from restaurant, I transitioned that over to IT, right? And I transitioned over to IT, right? And because of that, because I could use that in IT, I was happy and honored enough to meet Steven, to meet Brandon, to meet Kevin, to meet Job Skillshare, to meet all these other people, right, around the world, because I have those social skills. That's why people skills are very important. I even spoke in the One Lightfoot's YouTube channel because I'm sociable, and I spoke on Murder America because I'm sociable. I train people in Australia because I'm sociable. It's like you gotta have people skills. It's very, I mean, I know like technology stuff is awesome. It's great. Like the advanced technology stuff, focus on the basics and learn how to interact with people. Interactions are super duper important. Sometimes that one person you know may know someone else that is hiring and it could get you a job. So that's why you need to interact with different people, because you don't know if they're hiring or not, right? So go and just talk to everyone and see what happens.
The chat's asking me how I got all these certs. I actually went to Western Governors University, where like I got my bachelor's of IT from WGU, a master's in cybersecurity, and a bachelor's of cloud computing. But with those programs, they come with certifications too, and they essentially you go to school and get your certification. It's 2 for 1. So I did it with those degrees. So a lot of it was because I had to, and some of it was because I was bored. And like Aaron's right. Sometimes I get bored at work and I find this new technology. I'm like, hey, there's certification behind it. All right, let's see how much I can learn. So
didn't you do WGU or something like that?
Yeah, Western Governors University. It's an online university, and I mean,
with that, okay.
Yeah, I got my master's degree in cybersecurity in like 4 months when last year. Well,
comment. This is a comment.
Yeah, no, it's like slow week. Oh, next week, slow week. No, I've already, since like everyone's gonna be out of the office, I'm actually going into the office next week from like Monday through Wednesday, and I'm just gonna study for like those 8 to 10 hours, whatever. You know, like as long as nothing's broke, you know, like I'll catch up on all these videos I gotta watch. So that it does sometimes. Yeah, if it's slow, you got nothing going on, just start pulling up YouTube videos and start just go through them. So,
and I wanted to add a point on Kev's point about people skills. So when I did my interview for the company where I work at, because of all the time that I spent with Kev on these streams on Discord, right? Discord is a really big one. A lot of time just being comfortable talking about technology, explaining technologies, and being around different people. When I went to my interviews, it wasn't an interview. It was a conversation. And that, I feel like, really helped to sell myself to get into the job. Of course, my technical skills, they help. But that's not really what I think, got me the job in the end. It did, but it's more so that I was able to show them that I'm a person that can be worked with, that I can be part of this team, fit in with the culture, and all of these things. And I'm not going to, I can contribute in more ways than just my technical skills. That's something that's very important. It's not just about what you know, but it's how you can fit in with the team and with the company culture. So sometimes you need to develop that.
And I agree with Kev when he was Kev Rocks there when he first joined, or when I first joined, I first got to meet him too. He was kind of shy and quiet, but you can tell he's come out of his shell. But when Kev talks, as all you people at home can tell, his voice carries a lot of weight there. So he talks very well, right? So, it's like that old E.F. Hutton commercial, or I think whatever it was. Like when he talks, people listen, right? So that voice can carry a lot of weight there. And I mean, you guys say he's introverted. Yeah, I mean, but you got to remember too, Kev is very young yet. I mean, I don't know what you guys think how old he is, but he's a very young guy. So he's very, very intelligent. He's very smart. And that's the way these introverts are, kind of like thing. But he's come a long way, and he's a sharp guy.
Yeah, the other Kev. Someone's asking the other Kev.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I even brought it up, the reason I even bring it up is because I know a lot of people in technology are similar to me.
Yes.
And that's why I wanted to make a point that you can develop these skills. And it's not like I have no problem with you saying it, because it's true. I am an introvert. But just because you are doesn't mean you can't develop these skills, and you should develop these skills. And you don't want to be stuck being somewhere in the middle, and then no one knows who you are, no one knows what you do, because you're shy, just doing your job. And it's fine, you can do that if you want, but if you really want to be successful, you want to be known.
And you will do that. I mean, if I had talked to you if we both work together and you told me something, I'd freaking listen, because you sound like you know what the heck you're talking about. So keep that in mind too. But I mean, yeah, I guess Kev would be the introvert. I don't know.
Someone was asking a question actually, because they're like, "Oh, I missed the intro. Like, curious, what roles are you guys in?"
I'm an information systems security manager for a national food service buying cooperative. So like middleman between suppliers and independent food distributors. I work in a buying group. So like I work in a smaller company that handles a lot of virtualized applications and infrastructures. And I even work on AS400 stuff. So for all those people who are ancient know what AS400 is, that's an ERP platform. It's still around.
Yeah, we actually still use that.
Some people ask like, how do I stay motivated? Well, I found these wristbands that I have two of them here. One says stop wishing, start working, and then the other one says talk less, do more. And then I have another one out there that says work hard, dream big. So if I see that every day, it's like my motivation to keep going, keep pushing. I rotate them in and out. I found them online somewhere. So just having that goal and drive, like, hey, you want to be able to provide more and be able to do more. Like, you just have to have that self-motivation to keep rocking and keep learning, keep developing yourself. You might get 1,000 no's, but eventually you get that one yes. So
yeah, exactly.
I
was gonna say, Steven, you're like desktop support, right?
Desktop support for HCL. I'm an FSO, field support operations, and I handle like 6 sites. So keeps me pretty busy. But it's like desktop support, face to face.
Got it.
So my job title is technical operations specialist. I work at Yext, and essentially what that means is I work on infrastructure, I work on servers, pretty much maintain all that stuff.
And me, I work for an MSP as a sysadmin, but then I also in the MSP I work dedicated for a hedge fund, and I do IT support for them. Outside of that, I'm an IT instructor, technical trainer for help desk and service desk for Australia. And outside of that, I work for a nonprofit organization called Raices with cybersecurity. Outside of that, I do training in another platform with Job Skill Share. And then outside of that, I work for another platform that do help desk and IT support. So that's what I do. I'm all over the place now. I work for 5 different platforms.
I'm actually involved in another platform called Go Cloud Architect. It's like trying to develop like people who want to get into like cloud architecture. And it's a lot of it's developing their soft skill stuff. So like I'm involved over there, and I enjoy it. And we do a lot of deep dives into like cloud technology and build outs and stuff like that. So and like developing those like interview skills or social skills, like how to like your resume can be great, your certification can be great, but if you can't pass the interview, you're not gonna get the job.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so
exactly.
Even being here today, it helps me out be more confident in myself and my skills. You know, like I sound like shit today, but like I knew when I started coming, like, man, that'd be a good opportunity to just talk. So
don't worry, so do I.
But you could tell though. But Brandon, you could tell, right? You could tell that Kev got a lot better from like the previous conversations we had in other YouTube videos.
I've known you guys for about a year now, and I could tell we've been like all of us have been more confident now in our skills and our communication and being able to help others. You know, so like I could see the growth that all of us have had.
All of us, yeah.
I mean, I used to be terrible like about a year ago. I always my presentation skills are rough. Oh, I've got a conference coming up in Vegas where I have to present about ransomware. Yo, we put on 2 buying shows a year, so we have a workshop called CFO IT. It's like it's a IT and logistics and finance workshop, like it's all day. But one of the portions like we have to put out. My boss said, "Hey, you're gonna do a presentation on ransomware and like what." But like I had to, not at the technical level, I had to talk to like CEOs and CFOs of these independent food distributors, like how ransomware works and what are the different attack vectors. You know, like what's the right way to like to approach it, not like just like, hey, just put like the best endpoint protection out there, because that's not gonna do anything. It's I gotta talk about defensive depth, like how to like to not just protect your endpoints but protect your whole network. So I have to come up with that, and that's coming up in less than 2 months. And so I have a lot to work on here soon.
So someone had a question actually. They asked, I wonder if you could build a home lab with the same as ITSM as ConnectWise manage, automate ServiceNow and Jira and manage engine ? That was a question.
Could you do that? Like, could you like Jira's like build out your own ticketing system and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are open source ticketing systems. Like OS Ticket is open source. You can build out if you could understand how to deploy an OS Ticket on a Linux virtual machine and start like do your own home ticketing system essentially. There's a way to do that.
Yeah, I'm going based on. I can't highlight it because it's LinkedIn. So people are asking on LinkedIn.
I was looking for the comment.
It's not on YouTube because we're on LinkedIn too. So someone said SpiceWorks is free.
Yeah, you can build a lab like that.
SpiceWorks is free. OS Ticket's free. OS Ticket you can configure a little bit and like make it your own if you understand. If you kind of like look into what PHP does and how to like it's a lot of research, a lot of work. So I'm not a developer. I
don't remember the last time I went live, Brandon, with you, Kev, and Steven. It's been a while, right?
It's been a while, like half a year.
Half a year.
Not a long time. It feels like forever. And I remember we did the hot seat with you too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the hot seat.
Yeah.
I remember
the late night hot seat. Oh man.
Yeah. With the 2 servers, remember?
Yeah.
That was
Classic.
I forgot about that video.
So
Yeah.
if we go around the windows here, what ticketing systems are we all using? What ticketing systems are you using, and what have you used in the past? I know Kev probably not much up top here. I used to use Remedy, and we are currently using ServiceNow. So Brandon, Brandon, you don't have any ticketing, right?
No, but I have experience in like
over here. This way.
I've seen what ServiceNow does. I know what I actually built out an OS Ticket server at work and kind of tested out a little bit. But I mean, we might just go ahead and pay some company to. Hey, what's the one that integrates with like Teams? I think that might be best useful for my company. But
really, there's one out there like that.
Yeah, there's one out there where like generates tickets off of Teams, but like
that's a shock.
I have 50 users. You know, like I mean, it's not like I have a big enterprise.
Well, you can. Well, I guess I'll go right away. We use Jira and Zendesk, but Jira you can use in, like, for example, Slack, and I'm assuming there has to be some integration like that in Teams as well.
I think there is.
Where you can do like /create and then type the name of your issue and it'll just create a ticket. So maybe there's something like that for Teams that you can like integrate.
Yeah,
You say Zendesk. What is that? Is that part of Citrix? What is that?
No,
Zendesk.
it's
no.
it's I forgot the company, but it's a pretty big ticketing system.
Great ticketing
Never
system.
heard of that one before.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the company. Okay, Zendesk. Yeah.
Okay.
There are all different types of ticketing systems out there, and then once you understand one of them, you can understand most of them. You know.
Yeah, it's all the same thing, really.
I use I use ServiceNow,
Okay.
and I use Jira. And
Jira.
my last job, I used like some random app that they created in house. And then for Jira, actually, Brandon, you're gonna like this. This is pretty cool. For Jira, it's integrated with Slack, right? And if you get locked out of your account, we have a bot. The bot talks to you. Oh, it looks like your account got locked out. Do you want us to unlock your account right now? It's confirming that it's you. You have to confirm that it's you, right? It goes on Active Directory. It unlocks your account, and it's okay. You're good to go after that, and then you're good to go after that, and it actually creates a ticket to let everyone know that your account got locked out. So you go ahead and just close the ticket, and then it just unlocks your account automatically, which is kind of cool. I didn't know you could do all that, but it has that. And then it's in a bot called Alfred, right, for Jira. And basically, what the bot does is it gets smarter over time, right? So if you want to know what the default voicemail pin for your phone is when you log into your phone, you just like you ping Alfred. It's called Alfred. You ping Alfred.
Yeah.
It tells you, oh, your pin's gonna be 50 blah blah blah. Just put that in and let us know if you have any issues. Otherwise, we'll create a ticket for you. So that's like what it does. And then you have other things you could do. Oh, I want to add a printer. It gives you the printer server name, and then you go ahead and add the printer. It does all these other things. So it saves it makes my life so much easier. I don't gotta do anything. I just like, man, just ping Alfred if you're having an IT issue. So that's what we do in my job.
Still think that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean that's great. I mean, but I don't have the budget for it half the time.
But you know how much that saves me with IT, because like I'm gonna be I'm gonna reset your password. Oh, I'm gonna unlock your account.
Same thing every day. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Use PowerShell.
Yeah.
Unlock the password. Right, Aaron? Are you out there, Aaron? It takes like 2 seconds to unlock it. You don't have to go in Active Directory. As long as you have the RSAT tools on your computer, bam, done.
That's great. Somebody said in the chat, do you prefer remote or in office? Personally, I like the hybrid movement that's happening right now. It's really cool to just kind of go in the office when I want to and stay at home when I want to. It's actually very, very good. Because sometimes, you want to socialize and be around the other people. It's easier to look over, say, hey, I have this problem, than going on Slack and waiting for the response and all this stuff. It's cool to have both, I think. I don't know about you guys.
I actually like going to the office. I live 20 minutes from my office, like no traffic. It's like 12 miles.
Mhm.
And it's good to get out of the house. Like I have a good setup here. I could work here, but sometimes like I have to get hands on and like, and it is what it is. But like I have a lot. If I need to get into the data center, I could actually. It's like 30 feet behind my desk, So like it is. I mean, I don't mind going to the office. So
I love going to the office. Like I said, like Kev, same thing, hybrid. Like I like to be like maybe 2 days at home and then 3 days in the office or something like that. But I actually last week, if you're not on my Discord, you guys are missing out, because last week I went on site for a client, because I work for an MSP company, and I did rack and stack, and I installed Cisco Meraki switches and routers. And I installed access points as well. Then I was on the phone with the network team. We configured it, and then I was actually on Discord, and I was talking about that, and I put pictures in there about the jobs, the work I did in the IDF room. So very interesting.
When I was an IT support intern at the current company I work for, that was like the first month I was putting in Meraki access points around the office. Mm-hmm. We had like a map of like where we would put it. Like we had 5 of them. I was up at ceiling tile, pulling cables, crimping cable, and mounting all that stuff. Yeah, it's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I took the ladder, I went all the way up there, and I picked up the ceiling wall on the top. I picked it up, I grabbed the cable, plugged it in, then I went all the way to the IDF room. It's poured whatever, and I went in and patched it, and then access point was working.
Did give you access to the cloud console?
Yes, so I have access to the cloud console. Yes, so I was just doing that.
I enjoy it.
I logged into that thing, and I just what I did was I just copied a template from one a working one, and I just pasted it in there and threw it in there, and it worked. So
I work with a lot of Meraki, like Cisco Meraki gear. I actually two-factored our VPN connection with Duo,
nice.
and so like now like because like for Meraki and the VPN you can like save credentials. Oh yeah, just connect. But now like if someone hits connect, they have to hit yes on the phone. You know, so it's smart having two-factor. You know, because if I have a sales rep whose device gets compromised, then like if they didn't have two-factor, they'd have access to the whole network, essentially. So, actually, there's a write-up about that on my Hashnode blog. There's a write-up how I two-factored our VPN.
Nice. And there's Dual, there's Okta, there's RSA, there's like so many ones. And Steve, not to cut out Steven, what do you like working on site or hybrid? Or
I kind of like working on site. Well, for my job, as you can tell, you know, if I have a new hire, I have to get access to the machines. They're right there. So if I will come home from work and maybe work like maybe 3 or 4 hours in the afternoon, if it's dead there, if I know nothing's going to come in, or something like that, what I do is I pre-plan. So if I have some laptops sitting around that maybe if I get a new hire in or something like that, I write down those actual host names, bring them home, and just have them on standby, and then I can just remote into those machines, and I can still do all my work. It's like I'm sitting right there in like the office, just that nobody's knocking on the door or going, "Hey, Steve, what's going on?" So I like both. And we really, with the whole plague thing, I really didn't work from home that much on site because it's a plant and they need me there, and it's kind of like I just, you know, you just have to wear a mask and, you know, be careful and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I like being on site. I like interacting. As you can tell, I like to talk, guys. So yeah.
And Steven has met me in person, by the way. So has Kev. Brandon, I haven't met Brandon yet in person.
No, because I haven't been up to New York.
That's gonna be funny. That's gonna be funny when we meet up. It's gonna be funny. But I met Steven. Steven has met me in person. So
yeah, this past summer, me and Kev met up here. It was great.
Hopefully we do it again.
You guys want to come down south. Let's see how it is. You know?
Yeah, we met in
gathering in New York, but hopefully we can set something up where I won't have my son, and I can kind of like we can hang out more than like we did, like what, 3 hours, 4 hours? Maybe?
Yeah, like barely any. We didn't do anything.
Yeah. Kind of like.
No, if we hang out, I just want to go out to eat and drink and have a good time.
Gotta come up to the city.
We'll do that. Yeah, definitely do that. Just come to New York. Let us know. Don't come right now. It's too cold right now. I don't recommend it.
It's too cold.
It's too cold right now. No. Stay away from New York right now.
Walking around with jackets and stuff.
Yeah.
No fun.
I actually hung out with Kevin. I hung out with Kev last week, actually, and I met someone. Yeah. I met someone that watches my YouTube videos. I didn't even know. He's like, what the hell's Kevin doing here in this restaurant? What's going on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just show
celebrity now, huh?
So like that Kevin, we have a friends group that they all wanted to hang out with Crystal, my girlfriend, more than me. So like, oh, it's really true. You know, like, oh, screw you, Brandon. Crystal's better, all right? You know. We went to a concert last night. We went to saw Manchester Orchestra play, and like I totally thought it was like an actual orchestra, but I didn't realize it was a rock band until like Crystal was playing with me the whole time until she's like, I was like, wait, is this really a rock band? She's like, yes. I'm like, oh, my fucking idiot. We had fun last night.
Name like that.
Yeah, like I don't know. I was like, hey, I'm gonna wear pants and a button up. She's like, why? Just the Fox Theater. So we had a good time last night.
I was gonna ask you guys, like, what are your plans for I guess when November's done, pretty much December?
Get ready for the holidays and study, and I mean, I have a conference coming up the third week in January, so my life's about to get hectic and preparing all our gear. We send out a truckload of gear, of like equipment and stuff like that, making sure all the work is ready for like the setup. I'm on the setup crew for this conference, so I go into Vegas like 3 days before. We set up the ballroom area. I don't do the table and stuff, but like all the equipment, make sure everything's done right. So yeah, I'm on salary, and I wish I was on hourly because I would get paid a lot more. But now, like they're gonna get back every hours that I've been slacking off. So that's what we do.
Hmm.
So I don't go to Vegas for fun. I go for work, and and when I'm there for a full week, I'm ready to come home.
Someone was asking, like, there are so many jobs available in Washington D.C. area. Can you talk about good cities and IT jobs for IT jobs? I think
You gotta
was gonna
think
say,
about
like,
cost of
Dallas.
living too.
Yeah,
Like
cost
Yeah.
of living.
like I mean, DC is great and all, but like 100, what's it? 100, what's the average there? Like so,
80,
120.
90.
Yeah, the 80 and 90 you're making there, you would like it would be worth more if you did it somewhere else, like in Atlanta. Like my salary now would be like I would need to make at least what 120 to maintain the same lifestyle. You know, I'm comfortable at a current 70,000 a year, but I know I'm about to make a lot more. It's coming.
Yeah, like up here, you're up in New York City,
Yeah,
but you might be making 100K. But first of all, you're losing 30% of that to the government, right? And so that leaves you with 60K to play with, and now you're paying at least $2,000 of rent. So you got to think about those kinds of considerations when you're like looking into cities when you want to move. But big cities, big hubs, New York, DC, Raleigh down in North Carolina. I think South Carolina has it down in Charlottesville as well. Atlanta, where Brandon's at. Utah, I heard is growing right now.
Texas.
Texas,
yeah.
out in
I don't live in
Colorado.
Atlanta. I live like an hour north of Atlanta, but like the northern part, there's like a big fiber lines and data companies are coming here. So it's tech. It's like they called it the Silicon of the East, but Silicon Valley of the East, but
Yeah.
it's good. I just put a link for the Nerd Wallet cost of living
Oklahoma.
calculator. Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy, Aaron, not Oklahoma.
That's a
Yeah,
good idea.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Don't go to Oklahoma. They don't pay a lot.
I told Aaron I would come out to Oklahoma for 6 figures, but there's no way you could.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, like, I'll go to Oklahoma if I don't want to get hit by a hurricane. So I'll just stay over here for now.
No, you need tornadoes in Oklahoma.
Tornadoes, yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
Stay
the only
away.
like
Are
things
flying.
they get out there are freaking like tornadoes. Other than that,
Stay away from that.
Pennsylvania's
area.
the same way. Pennsylvania, you're gonna make. I mean, you're gonna for a desktop support guy around here, you'll make between 60, 70,000, maybe 50. Or sometimes they only give you like $19 an hour. So again, but it's the cost of living. Again, you got Kevs up here that are living in a freaking outrageous state. Atlanta. I don't know how.
Georgia, Georgia's not the low cost of living. It's not bad.
Yeah,
So.
but here it's average. I mean, whatever it costs $2,000 for rent up there for a little hole in the wall, you can get a freaking mansion down here and out in Pennsylvania for that much. Oh my God, you can live like a king, Kevin. If you
I have a 3-bed, 2-bath house, decent house and I paid $1,300 a month in mortgage. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
I have a 2,000 square foot house. I pay. You gotta look at cost of living,
Yeah, so remember, guys, when we say it all the time, when you hear all these numbers being thrown out, turn around and look at your own city. What are they paying there? What's the cost of living? You can't go by what Kev says or Brandon says or I say. You got to take a look around your surroundings.
Yeah, to research your own area.
Yeah, look, here you can make 60K on the help desk. You're not making 60K on the help desk in Idaho. It's not happening.
Yeah,
You'll make 35 in Idaho.
Yeah,
but you'll be comfortable at 35 in Idaho because you're.
Yeah, probably fine.
Exactly. That's you can't get delusions of grandeur. If people that are old enough to remember that Star Wars movie, you can't get delusions of grandeur.
2031 makes 27 an hour in Los Angeles, but as a help desk, I was making 17.50 an hour and I was living fine. It's cost of living. So.
Not to balance all those things. That's also why we say same thing with the job postings, right? The jobs that are here are not the same jobs that are going to be where you're at. So when Kev and I, when you guys ask what kind of jobs are out there, what's the most, what are people looking for? We can't answer that because it's going to depend on where you live. If you're down in the DC area, tons of cybersecurity jobs, but also tons of clearance jobs, so you need security clearance for government. If you go up here, there's tons of Windows jobs because of the hedge funds and all that stuff. So everywhere is going to be different. Everywhere's going to be different. You just kind of have to look in your area and see what's popular there.
Someone just asked, are U.S. companies hiring foreign remote candidates?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
But they'll say in there like foreign, like they'll say either like can provide a visa, or but they'll say foreign candidates are accepted. It could be, it might say U.S. but then say dash worldwide / remote. So I I would love to have a 6-figure work from home job, but working remote
One day, one day. you will.
one day.
You can do it.
One day I will.
With all those certs.
Yeah, one day I will. So I'm just patient. I love where I'm at. I enjoy where the company I work for. I love the people I work with. That's a big thing. Like, are you happy where you're at? All the money in the world doesn't matter if you're not happy. I mean,
And it's stress
Very
level.
true.
To an extent, like I can fake happiness for a little bit, but no, I turned down an IT manager job, making a little bit more money. It would be the same job that I was doing now, but like I wouldn't have the flexibility. I wouldn't be able to take my laptop home and do whatever the hell I want to do with it, essentially. So, uh, I probably wouldn't be able to like have my own testing center. I have for certification exams, I have a testing center at my office. It's an empty office, just one screen and a keyboard and a blank computer. I should be renting that out for like $20 a pop. But if you're in the Atlanta area and need a testing center that's like free distractions, and climate controlled, I need a drink, like I'll like just send me a message. Like I'll let you borrow an office I have. I can't take exams here. No way.
I have a question here from the chat. How do you guys deal with incompetent, egotistical, in denial supervisors in the IT world? I want to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Well, my supervisor is actually one of my really good friends. So I mean, if he's not really egotistical though, but he's really smart in the business aspect of things. I've dealt with other IT managers with partner companies that are that think they know it all, but then you just show them, hey, look, here's where you're wrong. Then you won't get a response. Okay, a lot of stuff I've dealt with lately was between like email deliverability issues, like companies that don't have their SPF records, their DMARC and DKIM records set properly, so it ensures email deliverability. These are like parts of email that's like says, hey, that authenticates the sender, to make sure your email does not end up in spam boxes, which is terrible. If you're a company and you're trying to send out like communications to like potential customers and it ends up in their spam box automatically, you're screwing yourself out of dollars, bottom line. And like I just point out some things like, hey, look, you might want to check this. I'll send them an email to check it, that I won't hear anything back. But then I'll see that they fixed it because these records are like public DNS records. Then I know that like they saw it. So everyone's gonna think they know more than somebody else, but it is what it is. You just move on.
I was gonna say that if you work with a toxic manager and a toxic environment, then it's time for you to leave. It's just like you can't be stuck in an environment like that where you have no opportunity to grow, no opportunity to do anything. Then people, we don't let people go. People let go of themselves because they have a bad manager or they have a bad environment that they're working in. So you have to look at it both ways, right? It's like when you're dating, right? Or when you're going out, you have to see that you fit well with them and they fit well with you. So when you go to a company, you want to do all your research before you actually go into that job, right? Just make sure you're going to a job that they give you opportunity to grow, opportunity to learn, and you have the right manager and you're asking the right questions, right? You want to dig into that person that you're working with to see if they're going to work well with you, because you don't want to go to a job and then you have all these other issues, and you have issues with your coworkers, you have issues with your manager, you have issues with your manager, you have issues everywhere, right? So that's why you want to do your research.
Manager should want you to grow. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Manager should say, like if when I hire a level 1 guy, I'm gonna have to say, hey, what do you want to be? Like, you don't want to be stuck here. What's your goal? I'm gonna help him achieve that goal. Like through like either set him up with certification training, education, whatever. Be flexible, help him grow and develop his skills. Because like I may want to I'll eventually give him recommendations somewhere else. So because I want him to make more money. You know, I don't want a guy just to like not achieve his potential, his or her potential.
But do you
So-
guys agree though, when these guys get the manager's jobs or the supervisor jobs, they forget what it's like to be down in the trenches. They forget what it's like to deal with the customers on a day-to-day basis. They forget how to solve the problems because now they are slammed with a lot more higher stuff, which they are just delegating down to you to fix it. And they may not be up on the technology that's out there, or they just may get earpieces here and there. So those guys will come up and say, "Hey, Brandon, you need to do this now." I don't, we are, maybe he did it one way before, but now it's not the same way that we do it now. But he's been out of the game now for a while because he's dealing with the managers, he's dealing with all the higher ups, and he kind of like, they just kind of like lose their way. And maybe when they first get the job, they're still good, but then over a period of time, they kind of think, I'm the manager, I should know everything. Well, no, you guys don't. You guys just know how to, push around numbers to make sure the bean counters are all happy, and say, okay, great, but they're not down in the trenches with us. So, like, we're not seeing the day-to-day operations. We're not seeing the day-to-day.
Yeah.
Problems. I mean,
I've had that happen
it has to
actually.
be some kind of issue with that.
A little bit.
I think that like you have to first of all like learn how to kind of not deal with it, but how to play the game a little bit when it comes to dealing with managers when they are a certain way. So you kind of need to know, okay, gain their trust essentially, right?
Yeah.
You trust my opinion. So you're telling me do this, but I believe that it should be this. Now I need to explain myself. Why do I think and why I'm like I believe we should do this because of the XYZ. It can cause ABC if we don't do it this way. Make kind of break it down into make it so that they don't just absolutely just instantly what's the word? They don't just instantly just shut you down. You have to kind of work your way in. They trust your opinion at this point, or if they don't, then maybe might be a little bit more difficult. And you're giving them the explanation that they need. And if they still say no, okay, that's fine. But then you can get that in writing, get that somewhere, right? Maybe there's like some maybe you're chatting over text chat.
Team.
Hey, you said do this. Things went wrong. Person above you is screaming at you, but you told me to do this. It was your decision, and I told you we shouldn't do this because of XYZ. So kind of do a little bit of CYA there as well, and kind of be safe. But at worst, if things aren't getting better, if you're not finding ways to kind of adapt and kind of be able to get things done, it might be time to start looking for new positions.
Mm-hmm.
Communication skills are big on that, because like my boss and I don't always agree on stuff. I'll tell him why I don't agree, like whether here's what could happen, if you go this way, and like I'll show my points, and if he still thinks it's the business decision to go the other way, all right, I'm gonna support the business decision, like, but like, I mean, but sometimes you're not sometimes the right way is not always the business decision way. So it is what it is, and sometimes you're like, all right, cool, here I've documented where I've objected to it, but I will support the business goal and objective, because someone above me said to do so. So
sometimes you don't see the bigger picture. That's another thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. I'm not in the executive meetings, like I'm not on C-suite staff. And those C-suite staff have like their meetings every freaking week. So like I don't get told everything. So you have to
and I know that Kevtech's ultimate goal here is to become a manager one day, and I hope that all the stuff he's doing now, and when you do get that role, Kevtech, one day you will, that you don't forget where you came from and you don't become one of those people. Like I know you have a lot of pressures on you, but I hope that you remember what it was like to be one of us back, in the trenches and all that stuff, and kind of like still satisfy the bean counters, but
I worked I worked as a manager in a restaurant, and I'm always the first one to do the work when I was a manager in a restaurant.
But
Look,
you're not going to be able to do that in IT. You're going to have to delegate that stuff.
No, but I worked with managers, and I know I'm on LinkedIn right now. I know probably Frank is watching. I know Frank's probably watching from one of my managers I work with.
Okay.
He is like the perfect manager that I ever had in my life, because he when he manages the team, he not only manages the team, but he also helps with the PC moves, PC setup, PC monitors, like the new hires, he does all that. He's extremely hands-on, and he's not like, oh, that's not my job, I'm gonna have help desk do it. I'm gonna go ahead, and he's like, no, I'm gonna go ahead and help the team, and I'm gonna go ahead and collaborate with the team, and I'm gonna go ahead and go underneath the desk. I don't care if I'm a manager. Like, that's the mindset he has.
Yeah,
I'm that mindset too. I have that mindset. So if I were to go into a manager role, I'm not gonna be like that. I'm like, oh yeah, you go ahead and do it. It's not my job. It shouldn't be that way.
It's about leading from the front, and there's different managerial styles. Some people don't like leading from the front. It doesn't. I mean, leading from the front doesn't mean you do all the work. Obviously, you're still a manager. You have other responsibilities. You have other things to worry about. But it doesn't mean you also get to shrug off. Hey, you just do the work. I mean, even at my company, I've been in Slack and I see the CTO doing stuff, and I'm sure he has a lot more important things to worry about. But I see him doing work in there as well, similar type of work. So sometimes it's just learning the managerial style of the manager. It might, and some people's managerial styles just may not fit with you. So it's what Kevin was saying earlier. You got to find the right fit.
Shout out to
the super chat.
Yeah, so shout out to Haifa. Haifa's here.
All right, girl, Haifa. I am very proud of Haifa for the development she's gone through for the past year and a half.
A lot, man, a lot.
Very much
entry level.
Yep.
Now she's got an awesome job now as a
systems engineer.
Systems engineer
now.
Yeah, the little shit as a systems
an
engineer.
educational company.
Man, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, girl.
She is killing it right now. So,
I miss you guys.
Say hello to
congratulations. Getting that job.
She got a raise or something. Whoa.
Antone,
Hey, Fa. We miss you too.
I know Antone is a WGU student, and we're LinkedIn connections. So,
you still have that?
You still have that paper?
I still have it. Hey, Fa. I guess I got. Maybe I'll never change it.
I can't wait for Haifa to be a manager one day, and she's gonna have all these.
She's gonna control a lot of people.
Yeah, underneath her.
Interesting to watch.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's how it is in IT. Like you need to have there's a balance when you're a manager. You need to have a balance when you're a manager. It's not all about like ordering people around. You need to do some work too. It's not. That's how it is. You gotta have a balance in the middle. You cannot be just you do this, you do that. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way.
But Kevin, could you fire somebody?
Me?
Could you fire somebody, your best friend, working at the company, and you gotta destroy his life, his family's life, kids' life, take away all the table? Can you do it?
I fired people before in my manager's role when I was in a restaurant. Yeah.
You even think about the when they left home and they went home and they
I give opportunity and chances. It's not like I'm gonna fire you because I feel like it. You gotta give you like three tries, right? To structure out, right?
So you're out.
So I gotta give you the chance. I'm gonna give you because people redeem themselves sometimes, right? So you gotta give them chances. If you don't give chances, like what the hell's the point? You cannot just fire someone like that, right? So
or if they take the network offline for like 5 hours and company uses billions of dollars, then you're out the door, and then you're out the door that day. See you later. Bye.
I mean, it depends. It depends. Sometimes it's not your fault. Like if you as a manager can't understand that things happen, then I don't think you should be managing people because sometimes there's like if it's like it's incompetence, straight up incompetence, and it's like this is repeated action, sure, but if something you break something by accident, I don't think you should just be fired over that. I think.
I mean, how many of us have broken stuff by accident?
I broke in production a few times.
I pulled the wrong cables before. Oh yeah,
it happens.
I pulled the wrong.
Just reading the chat.
We've all broken stuff. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Now, if you're not doing work, if you're not getting things done, if you're constantly making like these really weird problems, these really weird mistakes, then yeah, maybe probably at that point.
No, I've taken stuff out of production once, and like a restart on a, what? I think I restarted like a print server or something. I don't know. Like it is what it is.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I restarted a printer that the people use in the office by accident one time, and I know because they were printing a lot of stuff, and I forgot about that, and then no one said anything to me. Like, oh, okay, yeah, Kev, it happens. It's just whatever. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. So, let's see. It's like, do you need a degree to be a manager? What position should you require a degree in IT?
Depends on the company, I'd say.
CISO. If you were good, if a chief information officer, maybe like a IT management degree, yeah. Let's see if you're like in a director role, maybe I can see that as a requirement. Because like not all of it's all technical competencies. Sometimes it's got to be managerial stuff. So, I mean,
yeah.
But if you're gonna be a systems engineer or a network engineer, no, you don't need a degree. You show competency, show some level of some certifications, some experience. You can do well as a systems engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Then work your way up. With experience, you'll get the manager. A company should put you in those managerial roles and start developing you to be a manager. And then you'll get there.
Yeah, definitely.
But, degrees don't get you jobs. I mean, certifications don't get you jobs. You get yourself the job. They're just it's just adding. It's like part of your portfolio.
Part of that ATS system too.
Gets you through HR.
Yeah,
HR, ATS.
Cutting through the HR system. That's why I have like associates in networking, a bachelor's of IT, a master's of cybersecurity, and a bachelor's of cloud computing, and all these certifications just to get past HR.
Exactly.
I like Aaron's answer. He said, "Positions don't require degrees; companies do."
Yeah.
That's the whole HR ATS. I'm trying to fix that, guys. I'm trying to fix that for people that are brand new. You need to have A+. You need to have 10 years of job experience for help desk. It just drives me crazy. The job
and telling your WGU degree isn't necessary, but it'll get your resume to the top of the stack with that degree and your certifications. So you're trying to set yourself apart from all the other applicants.
Mm-hmm.
So then you still have to get interview well. Hey, if it does that, it's right. It does open more doors for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because
definitely does. I wanted to do hands-on training, but nobody wanted to join. I tried, no one wanted to. So I'm like, all right, let me just do
Shara says I broke a DIMM slot clip. The clips that locks right on the motherboard. Oh, that happens.
I broke quite a few laptops.
Yeah.
But
I fixed it.
But if you guys don't know, we're on Discord. Sometimes we hang out on Discord. So, like I said, feel free to join Discord because we talk about IT all the time on Discord. We hang out sometimes. We talk. We also just you get out of your comfort zone, right? Get out of your shell, right? If you want to interact with people, I recommend you come in and talk on Discord. Just interact with people, talk to people. Get out of your comfort zone, right? And just interact with a bunch of people in IT, and you'll be on your way there, with learning and stuff like that. It's very important that you talk to people.
Yeah, I told you guys earlier that Discord, just talking even I didn't want to. The first live stream that Kev did,
Go look at that. Go look at that stream. Go look
at that. Compare it to now. I didn't even want to go. I wanted to go on there because I knew I had answers to certain questions. But I was scared to do so. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And from there on, I worked at more and more and more and forced myself. I forced myself and I got better. And if you go on Discord, a lot of people join Discord. Join as a voice chat. We're there on Fridays, Saturdays. And if we're not there, there's other people that join as well. And just have conversations. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because there's no place for shyness in the workplace. It doesn't exist.
Sammers is in chat. He got a job in IT too recently.
Yeah.
He joined our Discord chat too. So it's just
he's there. He used to be there all the time.
There all the time. Yeah, exactly.
It helps you. Trust me.
There's a question that Abdul Majid says he got his A+ in September. but they thought you would find it easy to find an entry level job, but they want 500. So they want years of experience. What are you doing besides just the A+ on your resume? Do you have other experiences on there, like are you labbing? Are you like doing other stuff? Are you studying other things? Like what sorts of experiences are you putting on that resume? Just because you have a certification doesn't mean you should get a job. Like it's like it just enhances your resume. It validates those knowledge. But like, what are you doing besides to show that, hey, like I've got this other experience? Like, are you home labbing? Are you like creating like an Active Directory server and adding users and like doing group policy stuff? Are you like connecting like computers to a domain, stuff like that? So don't think just an A+ will get you a job. It's a little bit more than that.
The resume too, man. If your resume is not,
If you're exactly. If you like have one of us have Kevtech look at your resume. Let's look at your resume and see what we can do to enhance it. So maybe you got the wrong keywords on there, stuff like that.
It's always going to be the resume. I always go back to the resume. If your resume is bad, no one's going to call you. That's just how it is. It's reality.
I have a 4-page resume and I still get asked if I want for jobs all the time. I mean, just because it's a 4-page resume doesn't mean like it's trash. But I have a lot of experience with stuff on there.
You gotta have a good resume. The resume tells a story about you, and if your story is boring and it doesn't go well with IT, then no one's gonna call you.
So. Another question was, do you need a degree to get into cybersecurity? You do not need a degree to get into cybersecurity, but you do need some sort of experience to show some sort of competency. If you're doing things like try hack me, hack the box, if you're looking at certifications, if you're doing like things like try hack me and then like documenting or like doing a blog about your experiences and your learning experiences, that could help. There's like, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on training, but there is some sort of knowledge level you have to get into cybersecurity. A lot of cybersecurity jobs, a lot of people who come from networking get good cybersecurity jobs too. So if you understand networking like that, that helps.
There's Simply Cyber, right? And then there's security. You get sort of look at Security Plus, look at CEH. You may want to do like and you may want to look at what's it, Range Force. They do free cybersecurity training. So go there and look at their stuff, and they do it for free. And then add that to your resume. Then you can start applying for like stock analysts or cybersecurity jobs. And you also need to know that cybersecurity is huge, right? You want to know, like, do you want to work for the red team, the blue team, the purple team, maybe the GRC? It's like so many different things, right? But you need to get that hands-on experience, right? So we do try hack me, hack the box. You may go into Range Force. They do that as well. Gerald from Simply Cyber, he covered like how to get your first role in SOC analyst and how to get that hands-on experience if you don't have money for it. It's like there's so many resources out there for free. You might want to look at the free stuff first before you go ahead and pay for the other stuff.
Plenty of free stuff. You got to remember, cybersecurity, just like networking, just like systems administration, it's like saying the medical field. What kind of doctor you want to be? Or you want to say you want to be a surgeon. What kind of surgeon do you want to be? You can't just, it's not just I want to get into cybersecurity, because the answer is very different for every path that you take. If you want to get again, like I've said, into blue team, it's going to be very different from the path you're going to take if you're going to want to get into red team. There's some similarities, some fundamentals, but there's still different things you want to focus on, different technologies, different tools, different theories and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, someone said, what can I go after a year of help desk figuring out what panel? Because it depends where you want to work, Mike. That's questions.
It's all up to you.
Generic. Yeah, it's up to you, man. What you want to do?
What do you like? And figure it out from there.
Doing? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and hopefully by the calls you get from the help desk, you can kind of like, figure out maybe what intrigues you a little bit about what maybe you want to do next. That's something that, if you're stuck in that help desk role, figure out why you're stuck there. I mean, if you want to take that next step up, figure out if you want to do desktop support, face-to-face with the customer. They still need that. That's still a very viable thing that people need. They need people on site. It's just the way it is. I mean, Kevtech's on site. I'm on site. Kev's on site. We're all on site.
He's in a call.
So
Let me answer this question. Any recommendations for knowledge retention? I take notes when I study, but the info doesn't always stick. So, Ava's answer right there. Lab definitely helps.
Lab it
But
up.
also remember, you're not going to remember everything. It's impossible. I'm telling you right now, the amount of things that you're going to learn over your career, it is impossible to learn and memorize all this stuff. Just keep very good notes, understand certain things so that you're not completely clueless as to when you see something, and refer back to your notes and figure things out that way. Don't try to force it in, because even if you learn it now and memorize everything, you're gonna forget it. Doesn't matter how many times you go over it, you're gonna forget it. Unless you're using it every day, you're gonna forget it. So keep those good notes, understand the fundamentals, and move on to the next thing, essentially.
I like this question from actually someone asked a question like, do you think having a public appearance on social media such as Kevtech showing people your project's documentation and tutorials help with getting your first job? Yes. Kev, you have
Absolutely.
a YouTube video, a YouTube channel, and you have documentation on your LinkedIn profile, right? I know you have videos on that, and Steven too, actually.
Yeah, I have my blog. I have some YouTube videos, some entry level Linux videos, a couple of things like that. It helps, and it's things that you can show. Okay, here's what I'm working on. Put it on your resume if you don't have any experience. When people connect with me on LinkedIn, right? They see my network. They see how many people I'm connected with, the people I'm connected with. Kevin, my association here with Kevin has been tremendous. I've been able to meet tons of people, and again, remember what we said earlier, it's who you know and not what you know sometimes. And that really matters.
yeah, and I have a channel too, Stephen IT Essentials. I have some Active Directory stuff up there on labs and stuff like that. So you guys are more than welcome to go check it out.
Oh,
Like
so
and
Kev,
subscribe.
they're asking for your LinkedIn.
Sure.
They're asking for your LinkedIn.
There you go. Put Steven in here. Let's find him. Oh, my LinkedIn is actually.
There we
We go.
Sorry, the miss is cold.
Oh, you're
All
good,
right.
man.
Steven, I don't know if you want to find yours.
Oh, my LinkedIn? Oh, I dropped mine in.
My LinkedIn top bar is broken right now.
And going back into LinkedIn, please edit your LinkedIn URL. Don't leave it as a default with zeros and nines and letters and numbers.
Yeah, put like your actual name on the back end of it.
Yep.
Put the best photo you can of yourself, you know.
Yep.
Don't be like some party photo. Like my photo on there is like, I'm fortunate enough at work that they do headshots every couple of months. So if I want to redo my headshot, the guy comes in, and so I don't have a YouTube, LeVar. I'm pretty occupied doing other stuff to have a YouTube.
Yeah, he
channel.
doesn't have
Yeah.
doesn't have Kev has videos on Linux. Steven has videos on Active Directory, I think, and some server
Kevin's
stuff.
videos on Linux are really, really helpful. I
Yep.
actually I watched a little bit of it to get some of my Linux Plus stuff done.
Mhm.
This is my channel because I know YouTube removed the feature. You can click on names. So I'll put it there. I do have some things. Haven't made a few in a little bit. Haven't had time, but this will get you at least out of an environment and some very, very, very basics.
Oh, someone's asking for your channel, Steven. Well,
Yeah,
for an
blood counting is completely correct. What everything you can know. It's like what the time you put in is the time you'll get out of it. Like so, don't just sit around. Sometimes, well, people are partying and having a good time. Be out there learning and studying. You know, if you like your hard work will pay off in the end. You know,
yeah, exactly.
It's you just got to dedicate yourself.
Someone's asking a question directly to me. For an entry-level IT position, what should I know about mesh Wi-Fi? It's on the resume template from Kev's channel. I mean, just like basic topology stuff. It's covered in like A+, and like A+ covers topology stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, someone asked me, is that mouthwash in my background? No, that's a lava lamp back there on my girlfriend's desk. Her desk is nicer than mine. This is like our home office. You know, it's a hot mess. You know, so we share some. She works from home like 3 days a week now, which is awesome. You know, Crystal and I don't work on the same company anymore. We used to for a long time. Now she's got a marketing job for a multinational company. So she gets to like work from home 3 days a week, and I'm jealous half the time. So
Yeah.
but
I'm just looking at
I can imagine her working, like me working from home and her working from home at the same time. But she's on meetings half the day, so it gets complicated.
The problem is being able to network online when we aren't allowed to make comments about where we work, the company, job, etc.
Well, you're not allowed to, like, if you work for a company, you can't say, "Hey, I work at this place."
That's what they're
If
saying.
you work for the CIA, you know, like, is it a government job? I mean, like, is there policies at your office that say you cannot post of where you work at? You know, like,
for me, yes, actually.
do you have like a non-disclosure agreement where you can't?
Yeah,
like,
I can't say where I work on YouTube. I'm not allowed to do that.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't say the name of the company.
You can put
the thing is,
you can put it in your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, well, that's about it.
What you do is you exactly what Hafa said. You can say I work for the government. Keep it generic. And if you notice, like, well, I guess not in this scenario, but a lot of times I won't even mention specific technologies. I technically can, but I would rather not, because there's certain things where you want to just be careful with how you speak about certain things, because you never know who's listening out there, and you never know who's a malicious actor. So we kind of want to loose lips sink ships, essentially. So be careful.
Yeah. How do you build a LinkedIn social media presence while being connected with your coworkers? Do you disconnect from there? I was almost found out while working in my career change.
Oh, as in, like, if you're like if you're trying to like say you're open to network, you know, for like the link on LinkedIn, like for the recruiters out there, you can like show like, hey, you're open to like new opportunities, but not have it show on your public profile.
Yeah, you could. There's certain settings you could change on LinkedIn to show that you're looking for a job, but then it doesn't show you're hiring. That doesn't show your job that you're actually looking for a job. There's settings in there,
Yeah, it's on the open to work section.
Yep.
Like, and you can show like you're visible, like if it's a LinkedIn recruiter, you know. I always tell like potential employers, like, I'm always open to a conversation. You know, like I'm open to the conversation. I'm not really actively looking, but I won't say no to I won't say no to a conversation. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
So. And even if you do have an interview, you don't get offered the job, you get the interview experience. So.
Kevin said, Alita asked, what is life like in New York? It kind of sucks in Texas. Well, see, the funny thing is, most New Yorkers will say, New York kind of sucks, but would rather go somewhere like Texas.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what kind of lifestyle you're looking for. If you're more into New York is a very fast-paced, nightlife, all-day driven environment kind of thing. It's very, how do I say this? It's a working person's environment, essentially, and it's not the greatest in certain ways, but also great in others. You know, tons of diversity, tons of all kinds of food. Doesn't matter what country, you can name it. There's probably food for it around here somewhere. So there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages. Money, of course, is always great, but.
Yep. And pizza.
Yeah, pizza.
Yeah, pizza's always good over here.
Hey, cost of living is a lot less in Texas. And probably It's no state income tax too in Texas. So
yeah, that's something else to consider.
and barbecue and brisket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the house that is shaped like a shoebox.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about the food,
Yeah, I went to Dallas for my WGU graduation back in February of last year. It was amazing food. Oh, love it.
Plus, they have the Dallas Cowboys, so can't go wrong.
Oh no! I'm accepting everyone who's adding me on LinkedIn. So everyone is now my connection. Oh, I have like 960 connections. I just say yes to just about anyone. Except for the ones that are like asking me if I want like certification training. I hate those.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, if you
Like,
if you
if your resume says certification or training provider, I'm like, nope, don't want it. I know you're gonna try to sell me a way to pass like CISSP, but like, no, it's not legitimate.
I was gonna say I'm gonna put my LinkedIn in there too. Actually, someone got a job yesterday just by having me as a friend on LinkedIn. So
Nice.
I posted a job. I posted a job and I CC someone in that job posting and they got the interview and then they got the job. So it's just like, you gotta know, you just connect with people. Don't be afraid to connect with people. Don't be afraid of that. So
That's one of the things that I do. So if I'm at a company event or anything, or if I'm just out hanging out, I meet people, connect to people, add them on LinkedIn. Like it's very important to know people and to have those connections.
And another thing, if you're trying to get to IT, you don't just have to go work for a technology company. You can work for
anywhere.
I work in the food service distribution industry, and they need IT like level 1 techs all the time. Alita, I do not have a YouTube. I don't have time for that. Sorry, but like, yeah, if someone, I was thinking about it, like if a lot of the independent food distributors I work with, and the mom and pop food distributor, we're not talking Cisco or PFG or US Foods, like they need like level 1 guys to like do their desktop support. You can go work there for nothing. I mean, you get paid, but you learn a lot. So we're looking at warehouse technologies, that some distribution technologies. I mean, you don't have to go work for a big technology firm just to get into IT.
Yeah.
someone's asking, we're free to add you guys on LinkedIn. Yeah, you guys are.
Yeah, add all of us.
You could add me. Just don't spam me with messages. Please don't spam me. Please don't. Please be polite when you're messaging people here that are talking today. Like don't I need help right now. Like don't message like that.
Yeah, like we all have lives too. Like I get questions like, hey, can you help me with this? I'm like, if it's 2:00 in the morning, I'm not gonna do it. I'm asleep.
Yeah.
I put my phone on silent for a reason.
And also join the Discord as well.
Yeah, join Kevtech Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, I had people messaging me at 1 a.m. asking they get an error message on their screen on their VM, and they're like, Kev, I need you to help me fix it. I'm like, I'm sleeping at 1 a.m. You can't be messaging me at 1 a.m. Like, so just don't spam people on LinkedIn because they have lives too. It's not no one here's a robot. So
I don't know, man.
Kev, have you done any more Field Nation work lately? Have you done any Field Nation work lately?
I used to freelance, and I use Field Nation before, and then I used the other one was at work.
I did a Field Nation job the other week. I replaced a printer at a Chick-fil-A.
Oh, nice!
How lucky you are!
Yeah, it was like right down the road. I was like, yeah, I'll go there after it. It's like they're like, I got paid $25 to go replace one of those printers that prints out the tickets that they stick on the bags. It was like, I did it. Yeah, it was before it was on a Tuesday before the dinner rush, and I looked at the printer. I was like, I'm not replacing the cabling because it was like right down the side by the drive-through window. I was like, I'm just gonna replace the printer. It popped out of work, like easy money. And it's because this is only my second Field Nation job, and I just do them randomly.
My first job, for people that don't know that's watching this today, my first job in IT was virus removal for Windows XP. I went to Kev would know. I went to a 2-hour ride. I took the bus towards the last stop on the bus, all the way downtown Queens, right? And I fixed 2 HP computers. I did virus removal and I did Windows updates on it. And I updated it to Windows 7. That was my first job. That was in 2013. That was my first job. That was when I wasn't even working IT at that time, and I didn't know about computers. I was just like, all right, I'm going to try to guess this and figure it out.
My first IT job, my first ticket, essentially was I was working on my associates in networking. I was in a hardware repair class, and some other student from a different program was like, hey, I'm having issues with my computer, and she went to my professor and was like, hey, do you know someone to come help me? And my professor asked me if I wanted to take it. It was like a lady who lived like not too far from where I was living at the time, and she was having issues with like her Windows 10 computer, and she like owned like her own like home decor business from like her basement. So I went there, updated her computer, fixed her whatever issue was, and she wrote like actually like she asked me if she wanted to pay me. I was like, I don't know what to charge, and I was like, hey, you can just donate $50 to like the I think we have an IT foundation at the school, and she wrote a thank you note and to my professor, and I got the thank you note like a couple weeks later, and I was like, holy shit, like I gotta find that somewhere. No, I told her she donated the money to like the general scholarship fund. It was like $50. I was like, or I think it was a $100 check. But like that was my first like support tip call essentially. Like I had my whole tech bag and everything. So
Yeah, I was helping. My actual first real IT job was for the DOE, and I was helping. I was helping people with was it AOL?
Oh, AOL.
AOL Messenger. Helping with, was it Hotmail? Hotmail, and
I still have a Hotmail account.
and I was helping with X Jeeves.
Oh my god.
X Jeeves, and helping troubleshoot AOL dial-up and the DSL and stuff like that. And it would take me like 2 hours, almost 2 hours, to download Google Chrome as a browser. And then I'm just like over here looking at it, and all right, we're just gonna sit here and wait. Because I'm just like, I don't have any flash drives or anything. I can't do anything. So it's just like,
LeVar in the chat says my first IT job was working at Fry's Electronics. That would be all like
Fry's.
I love Fry's. I'm sad that they closed a lot of them down where I'm at, because I used to love going to Fry's. We still have a Microtech. Was it Micro Center? Yeah, with Micro Center. Yeah.
Micro Center is a really good spot to be.
I wish I would have worked at a Geek Squad for a little bit. That.
No, you
I have a buddy of mine who works at Geek Squad. He loves it.
No.
But he's
you step behind that black curtain, they're all freaking remote desktop support over in freaking India. Yeah, what the hell? Who the hell are they kidding? They bring it back out. Here you go. Your problem's your computer's broken. What's wrong with it? Oh, we found a virus. Okay, we're gonna pull the hard drive, never give you information back, and charge you like $500, and you could buy a freaking brand new one. Don't ever work for damn Geek Squad. Geek Squad sucks. Period. End of story.
So how I start?
Go ahead.
How I started in IT, like officially was I used to volunteer at my school with the tech team. I used to do stuff around there for like 2 years before I graduated high school, and essentially I went to college, and like a few months later, the main IT guy had left, and they needed help because there was only one person left on the team, and they said, "Okay, Kevin, we remember you. You used to work with us. And do you want a job?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And so there I was. I worked there for 3 years, mostly because it was easy, very flexible in terms of scheduling. But I got some experience in there. I got to work on a lot of things. I made my own experience, right? It wasn't the greatest job in terms of what I could work on, but I came up with things to work on, right? So, for example, I started writing Python scripts. Did I really need to do that to do my job? Not at all. But it created experience for myself, things that I could work on, things that I can learn, things I can explore, and made it more interesting for me while I waited until I finished school or did whatever I was going to do and then got this job.
Yeah, they're asking for your LinkedIn profile again, both you and Steven. Brandon put his in there already.
Sure. So it's here.
We've been on the stream for 2 hours, man. Holy crap.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, are you ever going to finish college or no? We passed that.
It depends. I just don't feel like paying money to sit in a class listening to some guy talk about things I already know.
I need another polo, man. I have a refer a friend code. I need another polo.
Well, think about it, right? Like all of the books and stuff, the textbooks, like I've already read them, so I'm really just sitting there to get a credit. Like, so it's no fun.
You got a portfolio project that sets you off pretty well. You don't need a degree.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at this point. Yeah. That's the thing. That's a lot of you guys will realize. You can get a degree to get into IT, but you don't necessarily need one. And even to move up, you don't necessarily need one. It just depends. Do you have the right skills? Do you know the right people? Do you have the right resume? Can you interview right? If you got all the above, you're probably fine. Some companies, they won't take you if you don't have a degree. So you just go to a different company.
I started out in IT with I didn't have my associates yet, but I was IT support intern. I was working on it, and like my resume didn't have much IT experience, but I was like, I love to learn. I can work hard, and I'll show up on time. And he was like, all right, cool. You know, with the job, So like I think I had my A+ at the time, but still it's as for the company I currently still work for, and I just progressed up the levels.
And I'll go even further. When I was looking for my job, I was looking on Indeed and LinkedIn, and here in New York specifically, with Linux jobs, most before like a year, 2 years ago, before the pandemic happened, there were a bunch of jobs asking for degrees and Red Hat certified sysadmin for Linux jobs, RCSA. Mid-pandemic, looking for jobs, those words were barely found on any job description at all. Most of the jobs I applied for did not ask for degrees, did not ask for RCSA. That is not what was happening in 2019, 2018. Because I was looking, even though I wasn't applying back then, I was looking at the job market, and that was not the case. So there's this shift that's being made towards less degrees and things like that. It's definitely happening. It's definitely prevalent. Of course, it depends on where you live. But here in New York City, I've definitely realized that there's not as big of a push for that anymore because they're realizing not all that talent has that. Yeah.
We both were looking at it. We're looking at the jobs in New York, and they changed
because we were playing
everything.
at the same time.
Yeah, they changed everything. It's totally different. It's very interesting. So, someone was asking a question that I had a good question. Actually, where is it? Any new technologies you guys are using that are new to you?
Well, I just started.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I just started learning about Ceph. It's a storage technology, distributed storage technology.
Oh, SEFT, SEFT?
SEPH.
Oh,
I mean, sorry, CEPH. It's a Red Hat technology.
Yeah.
You don't use like Chef or Puppet or any of those things, or Ansible, Kev?
I use Ansible. Yeah.
When I was getting my bachelor degree in cloud computing, I did a class with Chef. That was fun. The automation. I essentially deployed like clusters of like VMs onto a VirtualBox environment. So, but I'm digging more into VMware vSphere. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole lot of fun because it's what we run. So I would love to learn more about OpenStack and Nuantics, but those are different cloud technology platforms. So that just takes time.
Yeah, for me would be Okta. I'm touching Okta now, and I have admin rights to Okta. I didn't never touch that before. And then Azure and AWS, I'd never done that before. Now I'm touching that. So those are the three things that I'm doing.
Provider and understanding of what the identity roles and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like I have a full admin rights to set up people to give them access to certain applications, and also just creating like the creating stuff behind the scenes, and also I have full admin rights to certificates in Mobile Iron, which is like the MDM. So
mobile device management.
Yep.
Yeah. Plenty of technologies to learn.
Well, for me, I'm trying to learn PowerShell a lot more to do my job. So that's the technology I'm kind of into. I mean, like when you're working for the MSP for HCL, they have a new technology coming out called Tulip. It's a password authentication thing. It's kind of like you have a fob. You walk up to your computer and it unlocks your computer, or it logs you in. But they're having major problems with that as far as when they're rolling.
It's like a small device where you actually put the device next to the computer.
Yeah, it's like a key fob. You have it on as long as it's on your person. You walk up to the computer and it'll just unlock it. It'll just log you in. A lot of the CEOs are using it right now. We've seen it live. It's a little bit sporadic. They don't know if they're going to keep it or not. I mean, it's good technology, but I think it's not mature enough yet. But
yeah, Duo's got it. Duo's got the Windows logon where you two-factor in, log in. Yeah, but it's your phone, mobile device. So,
does that work pretty good?
I haven't used it for workstations. I mean, we don't have a need for it, but you can. We use it for remote desktop for sure, and any remote application. To get into the remote gateway, I have a RD gateway that goes into a remote desktop, so you don't expose that RDP port. You expose it like a 443 port.
Okay.
So the RD gateway sits in front of like the remote desktop server, and so you're not exposing your remote because remote desktop is highly vulnerable, unless you two-factor it. So we put an RD gateway in front of it. If you have cybersecurity insurance policies, they won't. If they run a scan, say you show you like an RDP port open, they won't like validate your policy for the year until you remediate that. So
Oh wow.
So that's why we put the RD gateway in front of it. So
yeah, our company is starting to get into the two-factor authentication right now, where they actually rolled it out a couple of weeks ago, and I thought people's heads were going to fall off their freaking shoulders because they were getting locked out of everything, and they were calling me up and we're like, well, "What's going on? Well, what's going on with like because we're actually using Ping ID." And they're like, I'm locked out. I'm like, what do you mean you're locked out? Like, and I said, well, because of Ping ID. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's
Ping identity, Ping identity.
Yeah.
I have a friend who works as a system engineer at Ping. He talked about bringing me on as one of his like senior system engineers at Ping. I was like, I thought about it, but then like they closed the role, so maybe down the road. Yeah, they're out of like Denver, Colorado. So.
But that's very strange when they roll out technology like that, and they don't inform the users. So
it should be an implementation plan, and like end user training and stuff like that. Yeah,
we had none. They just rolled it out one weekend. The users came in on Monday. They were all getting locked out. They're like, "What are we supposed to do?" And then the help desk got thousands and thousands and thousands of calls. They said they were up 24 hours a day answering phone calls from all around the world that people were getting locked out, and the users had no idea that they had to use Ping ID. Now, they assume everybody has a cell phone. Not always the case.
Yeah.
We're like, what's the backup plan? What's the backup plan if you don't have a cell phone? They have to call up the help desk, and then they have to get an actual code.
Bypass code.
And it's like, okay, again, if people don't know the help desk number. So because it's usually on the desktop when they boot it up, it's right there. They don't know it. My God, we were getting pounded with calls, and then they kind of rolled it out and they secured everything. Your Outlook, even open up your email was under the Ping ID, which to me doesn't make any darn sense. Like, why in the world would you guys do that for? It is stupid, but they did it. I understand security, that's fine, but I think they enough of the CEOs bitched and moaned about it because they were getting locked out, and they rolled it back. They kind of
the implementation plan wasn't there. I mean, the thought's good. If you project management is important, you have to have the right the timelines ready to go. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm just gonna throw this out and let it hope it sticks."
Well, get this: they did not even tell the help desk.
Yeah.
That they rolled it out. They just found out by they were getting hit with all these calls, and all of a sudden, what are you guys talking about? And then all of a sudden they found out from the higher ups, oh, we rolled out Ping ID to everybody this past weekend. Nobody saw any kind of emails about it, nothing. It was very bad, and somebody
that happened. Sometimes these projects that happens, but then you lesson learn and you don't do it again next time. Question for Kevruns: which cert is more valuable and worth working towards, Linux Plus or RHCSA for Linux admins?
So I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter. RHCSA, Red Hat is the biggest company. They have the biggest market share. It's great. Linux Plus, also great. Now, do you have the skills to back on your resume? That's what matters. Because it's not just about knowing Linux. When you are a Linux admin, there are a lot of surrounding things that you need to also understand. If you can get that and get those on your resume, you kind of get that generalized knowledge, it'll be just as valuable as having a cert. If you get the Linux Plus, great, you learn a lot of things. If you get the RCSA, great, you learn a lot of things. So I wouldn't say there's one any more valuable than the other. RCSA is the most well known, though. I will say that.
It's more.
But Linux Plus is associated with CompTIA, so obviously there's going to be a bit more.
Yeah, the Linux Plus is not just Linux, and there's more. There was Git questions on there. Cloud Technologies on there. There's other pieces. I just took it recently. I thought I failed it, but I passed it. But
they're both great.
Yeah, they're both good. They're both they'll stand out on make your resume stand out. So another question I saw earlier was, if someone's starting new, do you need to just start getting into cloud? I personally would not. You got to first you got to understand if you're starting out how does a computer work, how do computers communicate, and how do you secure that. Then you start building that. Then you get into like virtualization. I mean, virtualization is A+ too, but you understand that too. But then you start it's like how like if you understand how things communicate in a local network, you can understand how they communicate in the cloud. Because basically, it's a cloud is a data center and networking. That's all it is. It's just like you don't own the hardware. I mean, in a public cloud. In a private cloud, you own the hardware. In a hybrid cloud is a mix of both. So,
and you got to remember as well with the cloud again, like I said earlier, like a lot of the things are the same. So you go, let's take AWS SQS. What is this, or like how does it work? What you're trying to understand is something which already has an equivalent in the on-prem world. So like, let's say you want to use something like RabbitMQ. It's a message queuing service similar to SQS. There's the on-prem equivalent, and then there's AWS's hosted equivalent. Yeah. If you understand the on-prem one, you know exactly what the cloud one is. So there's no like one or the other.
First. Don't look at this actual like vendors like AWS or Azure service. Understand the technology. You know, like then you can look at a chart and say, hey, what's the same thing on like AWS? What's the same thing on GCP, Google Cloud Platform? What's the same thing on Azure? What's the same thing on Oracle? They all have the same services. They just named different.
Exactly.
They all work the same.
Yep.
You understand how the technologies work together. You know how they like and how you can build them out. Then you can just pick and choose what service you want. You know, that's one thing I learned at Go Cloud Architect. You know, so if you understand like how to build it out, how they communicate, like how to secure your environment, learn the technology. Don't just learn the brand.
Exactly what Aaron just said.
Yep.
So
anyway, because we've been here for 2 hours.
Yeah. I'm gonna go like find out what my football team is doing. And the missus will be home soon. I need to get
what kind of football? Football or football?
I watch them both. I watch soccer and I watch college football and I watch professional football. And baseball season's over, so I got more time to do stuff.
We're on Discord, guys. So if you guys have any questions, come to Discord.
Just put a link to Discord.
We're gonna wrap this up. You guys have any final words you want to say?
Thank you for having me. I sound like shit, but I feel like my brain was a little clearer.
You're good. You're good.
Communicate. So
thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it.
I try. I hope everyone's well. Thank you all for asking questions. This was very fun for me too. Remember, like, just work hard, dream big. Stop wishing, start working. Talk less, do more. Motivate yourself to learn and motivate yourself to become better. Just keep pushing. You'll get there. So that's all I gotta say. Just work hard, dream big.
I'll just say thank you very much, Kev, for having me, guys. It was nice seeing you guys again. We haven't talked in a while.
It's been a while.
I mean, I'm on Discord too. You're more than free to ask me some questions there. I'm always on Kevtech's server, hanging out and stuff like that. So, thank you. And for Haifa, all for you, girl. Okay. Very, very proud of you. I know we haven't talked at all. All right. I'm very, very proud of you. And you're going to do great things. And maybe one day you can tell me about the job when you're actually free, or maybe we can hang out on Discord here and talk about your new position. So again, congratulations.
Yeah. Nice job.
Yeah. It's always great to be here with you, Kev, great mentor, great friend. So it's always fun time. Always great to help people. I enjoy doing it, and just keep grinding. Everybody just keep doing their thing, and make sure to remember to lab every day. That's very important. Lab every day. Always stay learning, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll let Kev continue.
Yeah. So I hope everyone has a good day. I'll be here again next week again at 12. So I don't know if Kev or Steve wants to come back again, but I'll be back here again next week on Saturday to hang out again. That would be my second one, and then we should be done with those for a while, and we'll probably come back in December again, Christmas time. Where I'll probably do a giveaway or something like that. So, everyone, I hope everyone has a good day. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Stay motivated. Apply, right? Go apply for those jobs. Don't be afraid of the job market. Don't be afraid of those job requirements. And, just keep grinding, right? Just go ahead and do your thing, right?
Learn
All
your
right, guys.
basics.
Learn your
Okay.
basics.
Bye.
All right.
Learn
Bye, guys. Take care of yourself.
Go back to basics. Go back to basics. Go back to
Basics. There you
Back to
go.
basics.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's my hoodie.
There you go.
All right. Take care, guys.
Have a good day.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.
I'm gonna end the stream. Take care.
Have a nice Thanksgiving, by the way.
Have a nice Thanksgiving.